I just wake up in the morning and I yell a lot, even though it's way too early. It's fun though. Wake up, wake up, wake up! That's right. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Welcome to Garage Gym Life. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. On this show, we talk about fitness-related content from a home gym perspective and get your live reactions to the topics that matter to the home gym community. And we have a lot of fun along the way. And occasionally I don't even mess up my intros. I'm John Grease III. I'm the co-founder of Garage Gym Life. If this is your first time checking out this show, thank you for giving us a shot. And I promise that you are in for a good time today. But let's just go ahead and get things out of the way. I need you to do me a favor, hit the like button. And if you decide that you enjoy this content, hit the subscribe button as well, so that not only do you see whenever we drop one of our video uploads or we go live, but also so you can tell the YouTube algorithm that this is the kind of content that you would rather have them show you in your feed every day. All right, so let's go ahead and dive headfirst into what is on today's show. In the first hour, we're going to have news and other things, plus a brand new Recliner of Rage, which is our most popular segment by far. I will tell you why I am mad once again this week. In the second hour, our homie, Ashley Hromyak, is going to be stopping by to do React and Respond with me. React and Respond is where I look at stuff from the internet, and I react to it and give a response. And this time, Ashley is going to be doing that with me because I'm seeing some wild claims about fitness and being in shape being made in these internet streets. So we're going to find out what's legit today. Third hour, we're going to have my guy, Jonathan from NoFate247 YouTube channel. He's going to be joining me to react with me to my dude, Peter Keller's live AMA yesterday on Instagram. Peter answered questions about the Dane 2.0, and I want to know if he answered Jonathan's questions and yours. So be ready for that. Okay, now you know what's going on. If you have not already, once again, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you don't have anything to drink, grab a coffee, because apparently, as we'll find out later, apparently coffee saves lives. And let's go ahead and say what's up to everybody in the live chat. So let's see who was here first. Looks like Big Jared Martin was here first. Got his coffee cup. He said, let's go. What's up, Jared, man? Always good seeing you. The Statty Daddy is in the building as well. He says, morning, everyone. Jared, what's happening, bro? And let's see. I told Kurt that I was going to be referring to him in my conversation with Jonathan. And he says, oh, man, hopefully I didn't F anything up this time. Nah, it was actually really good. So, yeah, we definitely, I thought it was a really insightful comment that you made. And so Jonathan and I are going to talk about it. We're going to add that to our conversation. Kevin from Home Gym Gains. Hey, man, good afternoon to you. I know actually it's probably evening now in Japan. Maybe nighttime, actually. Whatever. Hi. Hello, Kevin. Kevin sent me, I told you guys last week that Kevin sent me something, and I'll tell you what it is. I'll just tell you now. So Kevin was the first person to let me know that Rep Fitness is planning on putting out a Smith machine attachment. But he sent me the notification in Japanese, and I was like, what the heck? So my wife had to bust out her phone and use the app on it to translate. She's got an app on her phone that will translate whatever it sees. So anyway, we got my man Eric Echoes here. Says good morning. Hey, you know the bad guy is up in about 2 hours. We're gonna wake him up, drag him out of his cage, and let him out to terrorize the industry. Carbs Jim is here. What's up, man? What's going on? Matthew Porter, what's up, my man? I am actually not tired. I got I'm fighting a cold. Well, yeah, I'm fighting a cold, possibly bronchial. My daughter got it. My daughter got it from. We think she got it from school, a couple weeks ago on Valentine's Day. They had a Valentine's dance. Brought it home, gave it to my wife, and my wife gave it to me. So yeah, not happy. But you know what? Shout out to my voice was shot yesterday. I was talking to Mike Reed from Micro Gains, and he was like, "Dude, are you all right?" I was like, "Man, I'm sick." But shout out to Throat Coat. I've been making this tea here, sipping on it. It's called, there you go. If you talk on camera, let me move it so you can see it. And it looks like, yeah, there we go. If you talk on camera at all, there we go. Let's put it right here. Yeah, Throat Coat. All right. If you talk on camera at all, you owe it to yourself to get this. A guy who is he's a MMA announcer told me about it, and everybody I know who like talks for a living, they swear by it. So I actually was able to find it in the YouTube shopping store. So I put the link in the shopping button on this video. You click that and you'll be able to get it. It's not very expensive, and I keep it in the house. So I got some in my cup here, and I'm sipping on this tea. Keep me going. All right, let's see, man. So shout out to them. If you'd like to become an official sponsor of the show, Throat Coat, I'm here for it. And let's see. Jared says he's got a set of the Bells of Steel Monolift roller rack attachments. Oh, nice. Coming into his house today. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, you know I've had my eye on those. I'm waiting to pull the trigger until a specific event. But yeah, I got my eye on those. And he says, okay, so Jared and his wife want a Bells of Steel gift card. And so they got a bunch of stuff on their way. And that's nice. He said, hope that makes me feel better. Sure. Yeah, man, I'm good. Oh, wow. I'm going to leave that alone. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into our first segment, news and other things. And let's do that right now before Jonathan gets me in trouble. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is, can you guys hear me? Because what I'm going to do is try not to talk very loud so that I don't ever get, so my voice doesn't cut out. But I want you to be able to hear me. So do me a favor, drop in the comments and let me know if you can hear me. If not, I can turn my mic volume up a little bit. So in fact, I'll just turn it up a little bit now. So can you guys still hear me? Somebody let me know in the comments. Somebody let me know in the live chat. Checking my speaker volume. It looks like it's pretty good. So if I talk at this level, am I all right? All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Jared. All right. So the first news item is I'm gonna give a shout out. So shout out to Garage Gym Radio for shouting me out. So in their most recent episode, I actually just watched it this morning. In fact, Mike Reed told me to check it out last night when we were talking, and I checked it out this morning because I took my medicine and went to sleep. And Jake said that he thought that last week's episode that I did with David Dennis and Peter Keller was the best episode of Up Way Too Early with Garage Gym Life that he had, that I've done so far. And then Jake had already told me this also during a phone call after last week's show. So, man, 100%, I love the encouragement. I appreciate it so much. And, that's the kind of thing that fuels the fire to make me want to come do the show, even when, I got my Jordan flu game going. So, I really appreciate it. So what I want you guys to do is, if you're not already subscribed to Garage Gym Radio, you need to go over there, subscribe, and check out what they're doing. Jake has an awesome setup. He's got multiple hosts with multiple different shows, multiple perspectives every day. Well, not every day, but I mean throughout the week. And so some are in the morning, So he does a live show in the morning on Tuesdays, and then he also does shows, recorded podcasts in the evenings. So definitely go out there. The link for that is in the description for this video. So go check out Garage Gym Radio and let them know that Garage Gym Life sent you over there. All right, next, the Garage Gorilla Bar is live. Okay, so let me go ahead. I made a post about it on Instagram yesterday, and let me see. Go here, because I'm really, really proud of this bar. It's let me go and share screen real quick. So this technically is my second collaboration, but it's my first official collaboration with Gorilla Strength. The backstory is basically I wanted to, it was hurting, bench pressing started to hurt my elbows. And so I wanted to I was advised to try switching to a thicker bar. Mark Bartley from Spudding told me try a fat bar. So I was like, all right, well, let me grab one. And so I bought the 30-pound knurled axle from Gorilla Strength because I was a fan of David's work. I already had some stuff from him here in the gym. But to be honest with you, I got tired of doing the extra math calculation because, like with a 45-pound bar, it's kind of like automatic in my head now for a lot of weights. So, but with a 30-pound bar, it takes a little bit more calculation and there's more room to mess up. And I tried just adding like 5-pound 5s and 2.5s to the bar, to each side to make up the difference. And look, that just got old. I just got tired of doing that. So I reached back out to David and say, man, can you not just make me a 45-pound knurled axle? And it's crazy. It's crazy that I actually looked to see if there was one. There was not a single 45-pound knurled axle on the market. At the time that David made that I got the 30-pound knurled axle, there weren't many other knurled axle bars, period, on the market. And then they started coming out. But most of the ones on the market are hollow. So they'll be like 17 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever, right? Which is why they're so inexpensive. Anyway, David made one. He's since refined the one that he made me a little bit. And that is what we're calling the Garage Gorilla Bar. So the initial feedback from people who have it has been overwhelmingly positive. And so I was like, man, let's just go ahead and get this link up, because the biggest thing was I was like, people don't want to have to email and text you to place an order. So I took some pictures and David wrote it up, and now it is live on his website. It is another way to support the channel, but I'm really, really proud. Okay. Hey, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? We back. We back. Can you guys hear me? Hey, if anybody's out there in internet land, let me know. Yes. All right. So for some reason we lost connection to the internet here. This actually happened. It was like an AT&T had to give us a credit, and we were out for a while. So we don't want that happening today. No, I rebuke that in Jesus' name. Okay, we're back. Anyway, so like what I was saying about the bar, the Garage Gorilla Bar, I apologize for the delay. There's like 200 of you guys watching, and you're like, where the heck is he at? But here I am. We're back. We just had a brief internet interruption. No, Michael, I did not block your access for being late. You right here right on time. So, Carp, you did not hit any but. Well, hey, I don't know. I don't know. Did you hit a button, Carp? Or you don't want to cut off my internet? I don't know. I'll keep my eye on you. So anyway, to just finish up what I was saying about the Garage Gorilla bar, the thing about that bar, man, that I really love is that it is a 2-inch knurled axle, but it's got powerlifting markings. So because of what I'm going to use it for, I don't know if it's necessarily good for strongman applications, because strongman axles in competition tend to not have knurling. But as a fat bar to use as a powerlifting accessory bar, it's awesome. So it's going to be great for fat grip deadlifts. It's great for any kind of pressing. I use it for overhead press as well as for bench press, and it is awesome for that. My elbows feel phenomenal because now I can actually press more frequently without impacting my elbows and causing myself pain. And another thing too about it is that I really like is that I feel a lot more tricep recruitment with it. So, this is, if you guys haven't seen it, this is the bar right here. So you guys can see, how there is a thicker bar. You see it's kind of beat up. I've had it for a year, but it does fit in my Bells of Steel Roller J cups, and it also fits in my Monolift, my Crandall Fitness Monolift attachments just fine. So I think it's a great accessory bar, and if you guys would like to get one for yourself, the link is in the description. No, it isn't. So good question. Does it take standard collars? And in fact, I'll go ahead. I was going to put the link in the description anyway. The link is in the description. I was going to post it in the chat, so I'll do that. But also, let me put it right here and pull it up for you. All right, so screen share this. All right, so this is the bar, and it requires axle bar collars because it's an axle bar, so it doesn't have the revolving sleeves. It does not have revolving sleeves, okay? That's probably like the only thing that I don't like about it, but at the same time, because it doesn't have revolving sleeves, it actually makes the lift more difficult. And so I don't have to use as much weight in order to be able to use it. So that means that when I go back to a normal bar, not only does a normal 29 millimeter power bar feel great in my hand, it feels lighter, but also it's easier to use because of the spin of the sleeves, especially for something like deadlifts. So yeah. Okay, so Carp said there may be a knurled axle in the strongman throwdown. Okay, well that's I think that's awesome. I mean, I don't know about the need for a knurled axle in strongman shows because you guys use straps, and knurling is essentially to improve your grip surface. I mean, there's some nervous system efficiency that's improved using the knurling, but primarily it's just to give you better grip. So, I mean, I'm not knocking it. Hey, I hope everybody buy. David made, I think he made 100 for this first run. So I hope he sells out all of them. Okay. Kurt, feel free, buy one and let us know what you think of it. It is rated for, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the load rating is 1,800 pound working load rated. And the knurling is medium aggressive. You're going to have about a 2-week lead time when you order one to get it, maybe less. And you do have a 13-inch load sleeve. So keep that in mind if you use bumper plates. But again, you're not going to be able to use probably as much weight as you do with a 29 millimeter power bar. So you should be good. For me, when I use it, 225, just for example, feels like 245. So that's just to give you guys a kind of a ballpark. So if you have any other questions about the bar, go ahead and keep throwing them in the chat. But here's the link so you guys can grab it. And also, you want to use promo code GarageGymLife at checkout, and that'll give you a discount on the price. Regular price is $375. If you put Garage Gym Life in at checkout, it'll drop your price down to $325. So there you go. All right, let's move on. If you guys have questions about it, like I said, go ahead and throw them in the chat and I'll answer them. Next item is we are going to be live at HomeGymCon. All right, those of you who are going to HomeGymCon, I want you in the audience at the live show. All right, we do have a Sign Up Genius link. I'll go ahead and give you guys that link as well. Some of you have already signed up. So like Trevor Greenberg, shout out to you, Trevor. Joey Echeverria signed up. Ashley Hromyak signed up. Eric is already signed up. Jared signed up. So you guys, I need you to sign up if you are going to be at HomeGymCon, because we're trying to bring stuff to give away. And I want to make sure we got enough stuff for everybody who's going to be there. It's going to be a raffle. I need to have enough raffle tickets, that kind of thing. So just do me a favor. Go to that Sign Up Genius link. Go to that Sign Up Genius link that's in the video description and that I just put in the live chat, and sign up and let me know you're going to be there. And if you go to HomeGymCon, you stay up all night drinking the night before, Thursday night, and you can't make the show, no problem. I get it. But at least I need to get a ballpark of who's going to be there. So do me a favor and jump on that. All right. Now, I was kind of, speaking of Monolift attachments, I saw these Monolift attachments from EliteFTS, right? Let me pull this up here because this was interesting to me. I like EliteFTS stuff in general. Their SS yoke bar is my favorite safety squat bar. Let me see here. Specialty bars. It's interesting to me because they've got two different versions of sort of the same bar. So that bar of the same attachment. So let me pull it up here. So we got the Monolift. All right, here we go. All right, let me share my screen now. Took me a second. That was a whole lot harder than it needed to be. All right, so here's the EliteFTS Monolift attachment. First thing that jumps out, $531 American dollars and 47 cents. Yikes. It is engineered for 3x3 posts with 1-inch holes. And if you've used a Monolift attachment, it makes it easier. Because you don't have to walk. If you're somebody who doesn't like walking out your squat, you can use a Monolift attachment to eliminate that. I use it to help me out with the unrack for bench press. Okay. So that's why I have my Monolift attachments. So that's what these would be good for as well. Now, here's the thing. So it is available, by the way, in custom colors. I do like that. I don't like that it's only available for 3x3 racks with 1-inch holes. There's no love for the 5/8 racks, 5/8 hole racks. Now, they also have another version that I think is even more interesting, and I'm going to show you that right now. And they call it the slider Monolift. Okay? So the slider Monolift, so let me share that. All right, so the slider is $676.47. It also has custom colors, designs, and pads. The difference is they have UHMW line sliders, so you can adjust these posts up and down quickly. And then they have UHMW on the hooks to guard your bar. I think they have UHMW on the other, on the regular Monolift attachment as well. But the slider for these quick adjustments is what got my attention, because the biggest pain with a Monolift attachment is if you've got two people who are both benching at the same time. On a normal Monolift, it's easy to adjust the height. But with most of the Monolift attachments out there, it's not. So they're not conducive to training with a partner. And I don't like that. So I really do like that. I'm not 100% sure if I like the price. Okay. But that's why I brought it to you guys. What do you guys think of the price point? And what do you guys think of that? Now, Carb said it reminds me of the Irwin Fitness monolift attachment design. All right, so let's go look at that. That is all right. So Irwin Fitness is in Canada, I believe. All right, so share this tab. All right, there is a significant price difference. You see, this is $363. It is also available for both 5/8 whole 3x3 racks and 1-inch hole racks. You can get either black or a custom color for additional $50. Let's look at some photos because that's what we care about. Oh, that's nice. That's pretty. So the Irwin Fitness weighs 70 pounds. The EliteFTS one, that is not as heavy, I don't think. See where it said. Okay, well, the slider, okay, I don't know how much the slider one, but the regular monolift attachment from EliteFTS, they say it's only 25 pounds. So that's lighter than the Irwin Fitness, but it's $531. So yeah, that's a little different. But this is made in Canada. So those of you who are concerned about tariffs, that could impact you. I believe most EliteFTS strength equipment is made by Williams Strength. So it is made right here in the United States. So that's an advantage. And that could be a reason for the difference in price too. Because, if you got stuff made in the USA, it tends to be a little bit more expensive. So Carb said Rogue has a slide type design. Is the Rogue made in America? I want to say I don't know. Let's go to Rogue Fitness. Rogue Fitness monolift attachment. All right. So the Rogue Fitness, let's share this tab here. So that's $395. And where is it made? It's 49 pounds. I'm going to say that all the ones that are less expensive are made outside of the United States. So that's something that actually kind of goes back to our previous, okay, doesn't say it here. Goes back to our conversation last week about the price difference between, never mind, I'm lying. They said that it is manufactured in the USA, right there. Each of these AM2 unit is manufactured in the USA. So there you go. So that's $395. It's one of their 3 ships free items, and it ships in 7 to 10 days. So that is a huge price difference between the EliteFTS mono lift attachment, $531.47, and their slider attachment that is $676.47. And here's another thing. EliteFTS says that strength equipment doesn't qualify for free shipping if it's shipped freight. So I hope this wouldn't be shipped freight so you can get free shipping on it. But if not, you're going to have to add the cost of shipping. And when I did the add to cart and just tested it, it did have a shipping cost to my address. So that's something there. So, that's a lot of money for monolift attachments. But you got to, I heard from Carp. I want to hear from the rest of you guys. What do you think about these monolift attachments from EliteFTS? Would they be enough for you? Or would you say, nah, I'm going to go with the Irwin? You guys know I've got the Bells of Steel monolift attachments, and I'm looking at getting their Roller J Cup monos. So Onan says, the cheaper version looks like it bolts in, so it'd be hard to move. Yeah, I would assume that. And that's my biggest knock against it. That it, well, it's very light, so it's only 25 pounds, but I really like the slider, and I wish the slider was an option for both of them, but I'm not sure I'm willing to pay over $100 for something to slide up and down. Pause. All right, so that's that. Now, this one's going to cause a little trouble. All right. So I mentioned Garage Gym Radio earlier, and Jake has, in one of the shows on that channel, is Home Gym Chat. So I know that some of you guys watch that. I remember Carp being on the most recent episode, not on it, but he was in the chat, most recent episode. I think Home Gym Physique, who normally is here, was also watching. And once again, it came up, people saying HomeGymCon is too far away. Well, okay. He said HomeGymCon is too far away from where they live. So basically, the general debate about HomeGymCon's location is from people who say, I wish it moved closer to me, okay? Even though moving it closer to you means it moves further away from somebody else. And one of the places that's always brought up is Las Vegas. And look, this is Jake's show, okay? And full disclosure, he has compensated me, not at my request, but he has compensated me in the past, and he sent me some money, not for the first one, but the second one. Sent me some money to say thank you for helping promote it. It was unexpected. I don't expect him to do it this year, but I want to be transparent. But so I'm not out here pushing affiliate codes to get you to go to HomeGymCon, but I think it's a good idea. That being said, I get so tired of people saying, oh, if HomeGymCon was in somewhere like Vegas, I would go. So yeah, you know how to throw pause in there, Michael. So I'm gonna say this because the discussion was going on and on and on. I was like, I don't feel like arguing about this anymore, but I'm gonna say it here. And Carp, I want you to chime in on this because I know you were active in that discussion. Eric, you were active in the discussion as well. How many people would you say who complain and would say they would go to HomeGymCon if it were in Las Vegas? How many of them do you think have gone to a show that's already in Las Vegas, which is HFA? Okay, the HFA show is in Vegas. How many of those people you think are signed up for it? It's March. It's March. The trade show is March 13th to 14th. You can go on the 12th if you want to attend like the conferences and go to the educational seminars and things. If you just want to go to the trade show, it's March 13th and 14th. That's a Thursday and Friday. All right, it's in Vegas. There's plenty to do in the evenings after the show's over. Lots of hotel dining options, easy to get to by airplane. Okay, the price is comparable to HomeGymCon. I mean, it's literally within a couple dollars of HomeGymCon. How many people who complain and say, "Oh, I really want to go look at gym equipment. I would do it, but HomeGymCon is too far away. They should move it to Vegas, and then I'll go." How many of those people you think first of all, how many of them have ever been to HFA? It used to be URSA. It used to be IHRSA. How many of those people you think have ever been to URSA? And now it's HFA. How many of them do you think have signed up? Like I said, it's in Vegas. Let me see has it always been in Vegas? Let me find out. Where was it last year? Oh, that's even better. Last year, it was in Los Angeles. Okay? How many people who complain about HomeGymCon not being on the West Coast, how many of them do you think went to URSA last year when it was in Los Angeles? How many do you think are signed up to go to HFA, which is what Ursa now is, how many of them do you think are signed up to go to HFA now that it's in Vegas? Which is the place they claim that's the only thing stopping them from going to HomeGymCon. Heck yeah, it's going to be more expensive. In fact, there you go. I was just about to talk Matthew Porter up, and there he is. I'll just let Matthew talk. Matthew Porter, he has a small brand. He's one of the brands to be affected by this. I haven't even read the comment yet. Let me just read it. Matthew Porter from PorterPhysEd.com says, the Arnold is in Columbus every year. That's not a destination city. The event is the destination. HomeGymCon is worth every penny. I haven't heard even one person complain who actually went to HomeGymCon. It's all the people who haven't been and who say they would go if it was closer. So when I was talking to Matthew the other day, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn I'm only about to talk about our conversation, Matthew, but basically what he said is, so he's already driving like 18 hours from Florida to get to HomeGymCon. He said if it had been in Vegas, there's no way he would have been able to go as a brand, which would have meant it would have been more difficult for him to make contacts and connections. So he made a bunch of brand deals and connections at HomeGymCon because he was able to take his stuff with him. If it's in Vegas, now these brands got to it's not just plane tickets, they got to fly their equipment there, right? Or they got to drive all the way to Vegas or drive all the way to the West Coast. And look, I know Tempola Gaines is in LA and they're going to HomeGymCon. Miss me with that. That's one brand. That's one brand. How many brands will we miss out on? You think Black Widow is going to go all the way to LA? You think Black Widow is going to go all the way to Vegas? Because not only are they going, but the further away it is, that's more time lost from production for a small shop. The entire time they're at HomeGymCon, they're not able to fulfill orders. So they're losing money in a sense by being at HomeGymCon unless they can recoup that money with enough sales. And you want to add to these small companies the cost of flying? Miss me with that. Just miss me with that completely. Especially when I would wager good money that most of these people who complain about the location have not actually ever attended an equipment show that is in Vegas, that does go to Los Angeles. I bet you most of them don't even go to LA Fit Expo. Carp said, I feel like we don't want to bring it to Vegas, folks. We want the folks that are so invested, they want to travel to see their friends, companies, equipment, compete for prizes, compete for a fun in front of a fun, compete in front of a crowd, etc. Yes. Now, Jake is always diplomatic. He said, I'm glad it's a controversy. If it didn't care, that'd be a bad thing. I hear that. So, and I understand you got to be neutral. I do not have to be neutral. I can go off. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm risking my dang ability to talk because I'm going off. Carp said last year I won a leg press machine from HomeGymCon, from ATX. He said that one piece of equipment that I won paid for my whole trip. Paid for my whole trip. Here's another thing too. I look at it like you're buying a car, right? Would you buy a car without test driving it? Think how much money power racks. I always use power racks. Think how much money a power rack costs. That's several $1,000s. You won't spend, let's say it's $1,000 to go to HomeGymCon. It's not, but let's say it is. You wouldn't spend $1,000 to make sure you don't waste $3,000 on a rack you may not like when it gets to your house. Seriously? Seriously? Okay. Jared's got a one-track mind. He said Dean has dumbbell cars to make. He can't be in Vegas that long. Yeah. And Onan said, yeah, keep it in a cheaper place so I can spend money on the machines there. Exactly. And that's another thing. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It just hit me because, I'm aware the HFA is coming up, right? And I was like, wait a minute. After I got off of the conversation last week during the Home Gym chat, I was like, Actually, it occurred to me, I was like, you know what? HFA's in Vegas. And I couldn't remember where it was the previous year, but I was like, I know it's been on the West Coast, and it's an equipment show. Have any of these people complaining about HomeGymCon's location been to this one that's actually in the location they claim to want? And I bet you the answer is no. Michael Brantley said people complain about everything nowadays. They'll complain about water being wet if it made sense to them. 100%. 100%, man. It's stupid. All right. Let's take a sip of tea. I got to get my voice ready to go for Recliner Rage because I'm mad. Give me a second. I'll tell you why. All right. So you guys keep on throwing stuff in the comments. But we're going to go ahead, and we only got 15 minutes before Ashley's coming on. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Recliner Rage right now. So, because, you know, we cannot miss that segment. Let's go. It's the Recliner of Rage.
It's the Recliner of Rage, because he's not happy.
1,000% I am upset. Okay. And I feel like I am justified. I'm 100% justified in my anger, rage, and frustration. Today's Recliner Rage is dedicated to the Valentine's Day gift I got from my wife. I actually got her about 3 gifts, but one specifically is flipping my switches, pulling my triggers. So I sent a company that so I sent this picture. Okay, see that picture right there? Y'all see that picture? And that's me and my wife at our first and only Savage race. Okay, this is the perfect metaphor for our marriage because we jumped into the competition. We did a competition, had trained 0 hours for that. We had done 0 training for it. We just said, let's just go. All right. And that's kind of like how we've done a lot of stuff during our marriage. Like, as long as we're together, let's go ahead and give it a shot. And it'll either be fun or it won't. And if it's not fun, we have a cool story. And if it is fun, we'll enjoy it. Regardless, we're spending time together. So let's go for it. So 100%. Even better is that at the exact moment this photo was taken, she and I were just talking about the fact that neither one of us knew which way we were supposed to be going. So, you know, to the untrained eye, we look lost, but we were just exploring all of the available paths before picking the one we wanted to use. Okay. So I won't have you telling me that we were lost, but again, we were together. So I sent this picture, okay, very clear, to the company. And I also sent some close-up shots to the company of Naomi and of me. Now, why am I mad? I'll tell you. I'm glad you asked. Because they sent me, I sent them that picture, and they sent me this picture of this white dude standing next to my wife. Now, this ain't racist, but I need to know who this dude is standing next to my wife. Okay? Look, put this junk right here. Look at this. Now, I was light-skinned when I was younger, but this is ridiculous. Who is this dude? Who is this dude, man? Who is this dude right next, like my son used to say, next by my wife? Who is this dude touching my wife and wearing my Garage Gym Life shirt? Who is this dude, man? Who mans is this? Who is this? All right. Once again, I'm going to show you the picture. I sent him this picture. They sent me this statue. I sent him this picture. They sent me this statue. Every time I see this dude standing next to my wife, I want to fight him. So it's up on our mantle in our room. So I wake up, I see this dude standing next to my wife, I want to fight him. And then to make it worse, I only ordered one. I only ordered one of these. But to make it worse, I keep getting these notifications saying that my order from them is on the way. So now I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, did they make two for some strange reason? And if they, did they just send this one out to get my PTSD to act up and they got the correct one on the way? What's going on here? I want answers. And who is this dude? Who is this? Who is this? Because this ain't me. Look, I'm going to show y'all. Does that look like me? Does that look like me at all? Look, I'm putting my face next to him. Does that look like me? No. Who mans is this? If you know this dude, tell him I'm looking for him. Tell him I'm looking for him. That's all I'm saying. Just tell him I'm looking for him. Okay? That's it. That's all I got. Just because I'm mad. Now let me calm down. Okay. Calm down. Take a breath. You don't need no high blood pressure, plus you got a whole show to do. So just calm all the way down. That's better. Man, who are you, man? Who are you? Why are you so close to my wife, man? Who is this? Oh, man, look. Oh. Whose man's is this? Who man's is this? Periodically throughout the show, I'm going to just ask y'all if y'all know this. Periodically throughout the show, I'm going to ask y'all if you know him. Because I want to know, who is this dude? Got my shirt and shorts on. So now he been in my house. In my closet. Who mans is this? Who mans is this? Why are you laughing at me, Owen? Matthew, Joe Rogan. Nah, let me look at it. Hold up a second. Nah, he don't look like Joe Rogan. Never mind. All right. Because I can find Joe Rogan. He said, okay, look, I used to be light-skinned when I was younger, okay? All right, I was light-skinned Hall of Fame. But I'm just saying, that ain't me. Don't you ever say, Coop better not be in my house. Y'all know how I feel about Coop. Y'all know how I feel. Me and Coop, we don't see eye to eye. So he better not be in my house dressing in my clothes. Nope. Who mans is this? Let me know. And tell him I'm looking for him. Whoever, if you know him, tell him I'm looking for him. That's all I'm saying. I'm not making any threats over the internet. Just notify him that I am looking for him. That's all I'm saying. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Anyway, in about 6 minutes, we got the homie 332 coming on. Ashley Hromyak. And so she's going to be reacting and responding with me. But let's go ahead and let's give a shout out to the Central Time Zone. So let's see. Thank you guys. Central Time Zone is about 444 people watching right now. Go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life if you're in the Central Time Zone. We've been going strong since about 6 a.m. Eastern Time, so we appreciate you getting up and starting your day with us. I'm John Grease III. I am the founder of Garage Gym Life. This is a Garage Gym Life media production, and every day we are going to, every Friday, not quite every day yet, every Friday we discuss topics of interest in the home gym community, and we get your live feedback. We are, last time I checked, we were number 2 in the live home fitness talk show space. So that is all down to you guys. And I need all you guys who are watching to help this train, keep this train rolling. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. We're trying to get to 50,000 subscribers, and I need your help to do it. So if you are just joining us, we have talked already about, we've discussed the Garage Gorilla Bar, which is out now. We've taken a look at the EliteFTS monolift attachments and the Irwin Fitness monolift attachments. We actually might be a better purchase. And we talked about the HFA show that's coming up in Vegas. That is a viable alternative for those of you who think HomeGymCon is too far away from you. So there we go. And now, so I'm just waiting for Ashley to join to get backstage, and we will go ahead and kick things into high gear. Let me go ahead and hit her up, shoot her a quick message. Make sure she's all ready to go. She's got notification silence. I'm going to notify her anyway because I am a rebel. All right, so there we go. So while we wait for Ashley to come on, we can go ahead and do one last item from news and other things that I wanted to talk about. I wasn't sure I'd have time, and that is William Strength has updated their website. So let's see here, William Strength. Let me see if I can pull it up here. All right, here we go. So I don't know if you guys already knew about this or not, but this was news to me. William Strength has updated their website. So let me go ahead and share the screen so you guys can see it. If you're not familiar with them, you should be. But if you are not, if you're in the home gym community, you're not familiar with William Strength, they actually, for a long time, they were making stuff behind the scenes for brands like EliteFTS. They were the ones to develop the original Prowler sled. They developed the Tsunami bar. And now in the past couple of years, they've stepped in to have a bigger footprint in the home gym community. One of the things they've done is update their website. So I checked it out, and actually this is something that get rid of that right here. I want to show you the first product I saw that jumped out to me. And let me see here. And Ashley, let's see here. Are you ready to go? You good to go, Ashley? You good? All right. I can bring you on right here. And let's see here. We can react to some other stuff. I want you to see this too. This wasn't on the list of stuff that I sent you, but I want you to see this. All right. So first, so let's begin with this. First, we're gonna stop sharing because we're gonna bring you on properly. Okay. Someone of your stature, you know, you get the full, you know, yeah. So here we go. Everybody, show your love for Ashley Hromyak. We're playing your song.
Good morning.
What's up, Ashley? How you doing? Thank you for being here. So this is actually something that I meant to actually text you, not to react with me, but just to see what you thought of it. But since we're talking about it on the show, let's just go ahead and tack it on the beginning of what we're going to talk about. All right. And it is, let's see here. It's from William Strength. What's up? Your dog is tell your dog thank you for watching the show.
Hey, Max, thank you.
Tell them like and subscribe. All right. Okay, so do you see that? This is a folding mobile power rack.
Okay.
All right. Now, William Strength said they built it to meet the needs of the tactical community. So it supposedly can fold. So this is it when it's folded. Let me go here. That's it when it's that's not it folded up. All right, you can fold it up supposedly and deploy it. There it is. That's it folded up.
Okay.
And you supposedly can like put it like on a Connex box or something, ship it to, I guess you could drop it out of an airplane or something. I don't know, because you're supposed to be able to take it to somewhere where you're forward deployed and so you can still work out. Apparently, you can fold it up using like a hand truck. It's got rubber handles. When it's folded, it goes through, they said, like a 36-inch wide doorway. And it's got those high visibility locking pins so you don't lose them, because that's like first thing I'd be worried about in the field is you're going to lose something, a component. You're like, okay, now you can't find it, and William Strength is nowhere near you. You're out there in Afghanistan. So it's interesting that you were coming on right as I was talking about it, because I'm like, I know somebody that likes jumping out of planes for no reason and who was in the Army. What would you think about something like this if you were forward deployed somewhere?
I mean, I was forward deployed somewhere like almost 20 years ago, like 15, 20 years ago. We didn't have that, and we still had things to work out. So I'm kind of, is that really necessary? Is that really going to take off? I don't think so, because I don't think the military is going to spend that kind of money just to send that when we've figured out ways to work out forward deployed for over 20 years now. Now,
I will say that in our artillery pause, we had pull-up bars. We made pull-up bars, and they had wooden dip stations. But I was benching on top of a stack of sandbags.
Yeah.
Right? And there was no way to squat. Right? I mean, I could squat with a sandbag, but I mean, like, there wasn't a way really to do a barbell squat. I didn't know how to Steinborn at the time. So that's what I'm saying. I think that's the application they're looking at, so that you could do things with a barbell that you could, that requires walking out. And I would suppose maybe bench pressing too. But yeah, I had never seen that. And when I saw that they updated their website, that's the first thing that jumped out to me, especially because, it folds up. So I was like, oh, I never seen that before. Oh, let's see. So we got one vote no. I want to see what Kurt thinks about it. Kurt, are you a fan of, would you want something would you want something like this if you, back when you were in Afghanistan deployed? All right. I want to hear everybody put a comment in there. Let me know what you think about it.
No.
So Ashley votes no. We got one thumbs down. Okay, let's see here. Kurt said it's like a Cappy Phoenix rack. It does kind of look like that bridge built rack. It kind of does. Jared wants to know if Williams is coming to HomeGymCon. They were at HomeGymCon last year. So I guess potentially that's a question for Jake. But I don't really remember from looking at the list of attendees. I haven't looked at the list of attendees in a couple of days. And I don't remember if they're on there, but they were there. Byung from William Strength was there last year at HomeGymCon. He was watching me deadlift. All right. And Eric said, I think we found out over the last month, our government will literally spend money on everything. You're so cynical to be so young. I will say, from the standpoint of enlisted, I thought the government spent a lot of money on stuff that we were like, why do we even have this? But then there's stuff that we really wanted. Like, we needed new truck tires one time, which is important when you're in artillery, because the truck is how you pull the cannon. And we didn't have money for new truck tires because they had paid for something else. I was like, really? That seems like an oversight, mismanagement, or misallocation of funds, let's say. All right. Kurt said it would be good of maybe like a garrison mass group tool. All right. There we go. All right. So, Ashley, you had a chance to check out the stuff I sent you. And today what we're going to be doing is just reacting and responding to some of I've seen some articles over the course of the last month or so that, I formed opinions on, but I wanted to, instead of, I have like kind of a knee-jerk reaction sometimes. And I was like, let me get somebody who's a little bit more cool-headed, not as prone to go off, and let's see what she thinks. So what we're going to do is I've got the articles pulled up, and you've already had a chance to look at them.
Yeah, I have them pulled up too.
Yeah, so So which one do you want to start with? You want to talk about eating during daylight hours only?
We could talk on that. It's only going to take a minute, though. We can start with that one.
Okay. All right. Let's go with that. All right. So let me go ahead and lay the groundwork. So let's see. So this article says, if you time eating with your waking and sleeping schedule, it'll help you lose weight and gain muscle. That's the part that I was like, what? I understand how it can help you lose weight because you're essentially compressing. It's like almost like intermittent fasting. You're compressing your time window for eating. Gain muscle though. And they said it's because you're matching your food intake to your circadian rhythms. Ashley, what do you have to say about that?
Isn't that what we've said for the entire forever? That like, don't eat after dark. Like, don't go to your fridge in the middle of the night. Like, eat when you're awake and moving. Don't eat too close to bedtime because it's gonna disrupt your sleeping patterns. I just feel like this is a bunch of BS way of saying like, hey, we've already said this, but we're gonna say it a different way just to make it look super cool, when really it's just nothing new. Just eat during the day, go to sleep at night. It's that simple.
So my thing is, and I looked in the article and I didn't see where it was backing up the headline about this being beneficial for gaining muscle.
The article itself, even the person who wrote it really doesn't have any credentials. So I feel like they're just writing a blog post to get people like a what do you call it, clickbait, and when it's really garbage. Like, yeah, you're gonna gain muscle if you work out during the daylight. Like, it's crap.
Because so now, in fairness, bless you, in fairness to them, they do say that eating in alignment with your circadian rhythm may support muscle protein synthesis. They say, well, you're feeding your muscles when they're most primed to receive fuel. But number one, you don't actually grow until, I would say, at night. Well, first of all, when you're not working out is when you start the growth process and recovery. And I would say that you actually grow at night when you're asleep because your body's going through the repair and restoration phase. Yeah. So how does making sure you eat when you're awake and active have anything to do with the fact that you go to sleep and that's when you grow?
I believe the whole point of them saying that is right, because when we sleep, that's when our testosterone and growth hormones are elevated the most, especially in the hours of the morning, right? For men especially, their testosterone has a significant increase up until right before we wake up, because we have our deepest REM cycle, right? We're talking about circadian rhythm, which is our natural biological clock of melatonin at night to help us sleep. And then we release cortisol and testosterone in the morning to help us get awake. So we also release growth hormone at night. So what I believe is they're saying is eat during the day so that you have enough nutrients for at nighttime for the body to use those, and optimal hormone optimization to grow. I feel like that could be the only justifiable explanation for why they think for muscle growth. I think it's just a clickbait.
So don't undereat if you're trying to gain muscle.
Well, yeah, don't undereat. You won't. You'd be in a net deficit. And how can you build a house when you have no bricks?
Well, I don't have the answer for that, but Kurt does have an answer for Matt's question about how to eat during your sleeping hours. And Kurt says, I want to see a study where the control group only eats with a feeding tube while sleeping at night. There we go. Shout out to Jared. He says, as Lean and Ashley walks around all year, facts, we need to be listening to her about diet. Facts right there. And,
I teach advanced sports nutrition at George Mason. That's one of the courses I've been teaching. So I know a thing or two about optimal sports nutrition and diet.
I really thought you were going to say, I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
I do.
That's one of my favorite commercials. All right. All right, let's move on to the next thing. We are joined by Ashley Hromyak, the homie 332. You guys make sure that you subscribe to her on YouTube at Ashley the Amazing. All right, I've got the link for that in the description for the video. And if you don't subscribe to her, babies all across the world will cry without stopping. So you need to do it. So let's go with the next item. And let's see here. This one is outstanding. Coffee. Are you going to be okay?
Yes.
Because we're reading it anyway.
I know.
Coffee is linked to a longer life. We talked about this in the previous episode, but I needed to bring an expert on to unpack it. Coffee is linked to a longer life, but only if you drink it at this time of the day. All right. And what time of the day is that? And it said basically, if you drink coffee in, I think it said, if you drink coffee in the morning, it's going to make you live a little bit longer. All right. So it said that it helps with your cardiovascular mortality risk. But also, even if you drink coffee all day, there's no difference. It doesn't decrease your, or it doesn't increase your mortality risk in terms of cardiovascular mortality. So let's find out why. They said the study doesn't tell us why drinking coffee in the morning reduces your risk of death from cardio. I'm literally reading this right now. The study doesn't tell us why drinking coffee in the morning reduces the risk of death from cardiovascular disease. Ashley, are you going to live
another
longer?
Clickbait. It doesn't, like you said, they're like picking parts of studies that fit their belief, that support what they think. But if you actually read it, it's saying that they followed these participants for 20 years and they monitored their coffee drinking. That was it. They didn't monitor anything else of their lifestyle, of their behavior, right? Nothing. And so they're saying that these two items are correlated, but just because two items are correlated doesn't mean it's causation. So they're just really just reaching out and being like, hey, just because you eat gummy bears, you're going to have better marathon running, which they're still not looking at. Well, maybe that marathon runner was hydrated and slept good and trained right, but they're not looking at anything else. So they're just making one assumption. And the number one thing we have to remember here is correlation doesn't mean causation. So they're just saying that, like, oh, this could be it, but we have no idea, but we think it looks good, and that most people read it and they won't understand what this means, so they'll believe it when really it's just a bunch of garbage again.
I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like, you only have a limited amount of time during, like, say, a news segment. So they'll get a story like this, read the little clip, and then somebody like my dad will hear it. And he'll be like, oh, good, I need to drink coffee. Go make himself some coffee. So basically, so far, we know you need to sleep with a feeding tube. And when you get up, drink some coffee. You'll be jacked, lean, and you're not going to die. All right. We're making good progress. We're changing the world right now. All right. And let me say one other thing about it. Are you familiar with the Framingham study?
The which one?
The Framingham study.
I don't know which one that is.
Okay. So the Framingham study, I heard about it when I went to the Cooper Center for Aerobics Research. That was back in 1998. Anyway, so the basic idea behind the study is they studied the people who lived in this town of Framingham, I believe it's in Massachusetts, because they noticed that at the time, the population of the town tended to stay the same. So people who were born in Framingham tended to stay there. They got married to people born in Framingham. They worked there their entire lives. They had kids there. They went to school there. They never left. So they said, this town is the closest thing to a controlled group that we could find, right? And so what they did was they asked people to report on what they ate. And then they just basically said, okay, well, what were the people eating who died sooner? What were the people eating who lived longer? And I kid you not, they took those findings and used that in the previous version of the food pyramid. So if you look at the food guide pyramid, not the current one, which still isn't good, but the one before, they based that off of, among other things, the Framingham study. In fact, I'll pull it up and I'll link it in the video description so you guys can check it out. But I'll say, okay, well, hold up. So first of all, and I think that there's an error made in the same study here about the coffee and whatever, right? It's the people who survive and who, first of all, how do you know people are being truthful? But then also the people who survive and happen to be drinking coffee might have been doing some other lifestyle factors. I think Jared pointed that out. But also, what about the coffee drinkers who still died? Right? So it's like you can basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is you can't ask the dead people questions like, hey, what did you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what were you doing? That, you know, what led to this death? You can't ask them. You can only ask the people who are alive. And so you're leaving out a whole bunch of data. Does that make sense? All right. So I see you answered. That's so cynical. Kurt's like, the food pyramids from the government is here to help. Yeah. Yeah. And Jared said coffee, but then they ignored all the other lifestyle choices, which is kind of what I'm trying to say is like, I don't like studies where part of the population of the study is dead. Because how can I ask them what they did? You know what I mean? Yeah. Kurt said not asking the dead people is discrimination. You know what? You should start a protest march. All right. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, this one is cardio or weights first. I don't really have a major opinion about that one. I don't think this one is as egregious as the other ones, but you know, it's not the greatest. So it said the order in which you do them, you know, whether you're lifting and whether you do cardio and then lift or lift and then do cardio. So there's, according to Peter Keller, who I've heard of, said there's no definitive answer. He said the key factor is your personal priorities. But the reason why I wanted to talk to you about it is something that I don't think they did a good job of talking about in the article is it also depends on what you're training for. Right. So, because and I really want to talk to you about this because you've done multiple different sports, strength sports. So there are times when the metric you're trying to improve is your strength. Well, I'm not going to go for a run before I do a heavy set of squats unless I'm trying to build my capacity to do heavy squats after running. You know what I mean? Other times, maybe I'm trying to lose body fat. And so I want to shorten the amount of time that it takes in my run before my body switches over to burning fat for fuel. So maybe I do like a HIIT workout and then immediately go run. So talk about that a little bit in terms of how to choose where to put your cardio based upon your goals.
I have so many things to say, and I won't try to go too deep in the weeds, but when it comes to what fuel source you're using, like fat versus carbs, it is going to be based on intensity of the exercise and time. So, and then we're going to go into what is the person's goal. If their goal is hypertrophy or strength, of course, right, they're going to want to do that first, right? Prioritize what matters most to you. Put your energy and your attention in the components where you want to improve on, right? As you said, like you're not going to go do a running session and then expect your legs to be able to do heavy squats because you're taxing the muscles, and as well as there is muscle fiber transition. So if you do too much running and you're trying to improve strength, right, you can have a fiber transition where maybe more endurance, smaller type 1 fibers start to grow and type 2 starts to diminish. So you're like, why am I getting smaller? And then thirdly, we can look at this thing called the interference effect, which is if you are trying to get bigger and stronger and you're doing too much cardio, the interference effect, like if you were to do strength and then immediately go to cardio, an eccentric cardio, such as like step mill or running or walking, especially at an incline with all that eccentric loading, right? You're actually putting your foot down and the muscles are contracting and eccentrically loading versus like a bike or an elliptical. that can also have a negative effect on the adaptations from the hormonal release and the cascades that you want for the type 2. So cardio or weights first. It's do what matters most to you in your training at that current part of your training program or training block.
I think something that you pointed out in one of your videos was how you were able to use how you used specific types of cardio depending on what you were trying to accomplish. And you used, I believe, your step mill to help bring out definition in your legs when you're getting ready for a bodybuilding show.
Yep.
Whereas I know people who swear by a bike, not an indoor cycle, but a biking outside for helping develop their calves if they have poor calf development.
Yeah.
So I think it goes back to figuring out what your goal is, let's say for that 3 months, and then picking the stuff that kind of supports each other.
100%.
Because another thing you could do is there's also the concept of using your post-work. You lift, you can then use cardio to speed your recovery from lifting.
Yes, if it's at a certain intensity, if it's at a very high intensity, then like you're doing HIIT afterwards, then you're definitely going to have more breakdown. So it all depends on the programming, the intensity, the time, the length of the session. But typically, if you want to do cardio and strength training, just separate it by a couple hours or even every other day. Like just alternate your goals.
Do you like fasted cardio?
There is no actual benefit proven for fasted cardio. I personally like it because when I eat and then I do cardio, it upsets my stomach. So for me, it just works for me. But there's tons of people who it doesn't work for, right? They're hungry. It doesn't feel good for them. So I say eat a meal and then do your cardio. It's very person dependent.
So, and actually, Kurt, I want to hear your opinion on this. Most of the people I know who are former military prefer to do cardio on an empty stomach. And my theory is because we got conditioned because of morning PT, all you have time to do is get up and shave. And then you go to the chow hall after morning PT. And so, I don't like that.
That's probably part of it too, for me too.
I'm like, I'm not trying to be out here running and sloshing. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then, and so that also goes back to, well, what do you do first? Because you can lift on an empty stomach, depending on how long it's been since you've eaten. But you're going to start having issues, like you'll start having like the brain fog. Your blood sugar won't be, I think some of it is like psychological because you're like, you haven't eaten. Yeah. And I mean, literally, if you've eaten the day before, you should have food in your stomach. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you'll start having issues with blood sugar. And so that goes back to if I have issues with blood sugar, then I go for a run to warm up. Then I lift. Well, I just started my workout with zero stored glycogen, and I'm more likely to crash. In fact, I tell you what, only because we're friends, Matt, Tattoo saying, I want you to go for a run. Then I want you to do some 20 rep squats after that and report back to me. Make sure you don't eat first, though.
I mean, if you want to be a better lifter, you should have a good cardio base. It will only help your lifting.
Okay, and actually that's something I want to touch on too. Talk about, I know that it helps you with your recovery, so you're able to start the next set faster. Yeah. What are some other ways that having a cardio base makes you a better lifter?
I mean, you're going to have, as you said, better heart rate recovery, right? So if you do a heavy set, and it'll take shorter amount of time for your heart rate to drop, you'll have better cardiac output, so your heart will be able to pump blood more efficiently. And even at the cellular level, right, you're going to have better capillary exchange. You're going to have better mitochondria density. Like everything's going to be functioning better, like the exchange of gases and nutrients and oxygen, right? Those things are going to be more efficient because you have that foundation of the adaptations from, aerobic and anaerobic exercise. it will just help you so that you're not fatigued as faster, that you do have better circulation. I mean, the benefits go on and on and on. But I tell people that's why in an off-season training program, we have athletes do a lot of, slow, steady state cardio, because it's going to build their foundation. So then when they do get into the heavy training and optimal performance, that they are primed and ready. Like their body's like, yo, we are a machine. We're ready to like work. We're primed, we're ready to go. Versus if you have somebody that doesn't do cardio, they're going to be winded, they're going to fatigue. Like it's not going to be. And if you put those two athletes side by side, of course, the one that has the better cardio base is going to be the one that's successful in the sport versus the one that's not.
So that reminds me of like how NFL players lift after practice. And we would normally, especially powerlifters, you would never dream of going out and playing football and then going to lift, right? But I think some of that is because also those guys are trying to build their muscular endurance, ability to recover faster, so they're still strong enough to play four quarters. But I think one other benefit, I really hadn't thought about it until we started talking about this, and shout out to Kevin from Home Gym Gains, because he said this is an entire episode by itself, and I would literally love it if you just took it, like you said, it's really big.
Yeah.
If you just did it on your own channel and just did it and said, here I am doing your programming for you. But like if you had a video like that on your channel, I think that'd be a really cool. And I would definitely sit there and go to school while you talk about it. But something I didn't think about is, how people have like the high blood pressure because they've got too much sodium. So obviously the first thing doctor does is give you blood pressure medicine. And when that was happening with my wife, I told Naomi, and I told her this in the doctor's office because, she wasn't going to listen to me if I hadn't done it in the doctor's office. And I said, what if you increase your potassium intake and increase your activity level so your sodium potassium pump can flush out the excess sodium from your body, and then we just wean you off blood pressure medicine slowly? And then I looked at the doctor and he said, yeah, that will work. He said, I just can't ever get people to do it. So going back to the cardio thing, that's another benefit because, when you start to become like a bigger lifter in different weight classes, I mean, I've seen guys who have issues like their blood pressure so high that they have issues actually grabbing the bar, especially if it's hot. So that can help you, just improving your cardio base will make you a better lifter in that sense in terms of competition. So I just want to throw that in there too.
And as Home Gym said, absolutely right. It'll help improve your overall work capacity and recovery between sets. But yeah, it can be bad if it's done too much, but that's where you have to have a good program, or like you or their coach has to understand that, like, all right, if you're in season or you're pre-competition season, you're not going to be doing high intensity cardio, right? Your focus is going to be on the lifts. That's why we separate athletic training into those training blocks, right? We build one to the other because, right, you build that cardio endurance and the adaptations last for a certain amount of time. Then you go into your strength block and those adaptations and you keep building. And then it's like, we're looking at the big picture, like every year here. So you would never program high intensity things during a pre-competition or competition season, because it would take away from the athletic ability and performance. And then last thing about blood pressure is, another thing is drink water. A little bit of dehydration is going to increase your blood pressure. So cardio will help improve your blood pressure, having your electrolytes and then just being hydrated.
Let me ask you one other question. My guy, Jack Canberra at 50 Barbell, has a baseline. He said even so he trains people who compete in powerlifting, weightlifting, also high school football players, volleyball players, and I think gymnasts. I'm not sure about the gymnasts, but basically he helps kids. So the everybody I just named, except for the powerlifters and weightlifters, they train with him in their off season as part of helping them get ready for college. And so so they can go to a college and play at the D1 level, that kind of thing, right? So, but one of the things he says is, I don't care what I'm training you for. he establishes a baseline. Everybody has to be able to run a mile who trains with him. Now, obviously, your mile time will vary, but he's like, if you can't run a mile, then you don't, basically, it's like, then he looks at it like your fitness is out of whack. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like you're too far this way or that way. And then obviously, if you're at the point where your running is impacting your lifting, your numbers on a bar, then he backs you off. But he's got that baseline. So I say that to say, do you have a baseline standard? Dan John was like that too. He had baseline standards. He's like, you have to be able to do at least these things. Do you have that for your athletes?
Well, it depends on the athlete, right? If we're looking at like CrossFitters, their baseline athlete is going to be different from what I expect of bodybuilders, what I expect of general health and fitness, right? So the baseline is going to shift given what their requirements are for their sport and be able to perform at their best. But I completely understand why he would want a mile. Like that would be, a mile is a relatively good test of aerobic capacity if it's done in a certain amount of time. So I understand that's why his preference would be that.
I mean, and when he said that, I was like, you know what? When I'm in shape, I can do that in 8 minutes. That is even, without straining, right? I can run an easy mile in 8 minutes. And I'm like, that's not even as long as you're supposed to warm up on a treadmill or something, right? So I'm like, yeah, I kind of can see it. Like, if you can't run a mile, I mean, unless you want those skinny dudes that can do it in 4 minutes. We're not even talking about them. But I'm just saying, like, if you should be able to run a mile within reason without dying, without it negatively impacting your ability to function the next day. You know what I mean?
I think, think about the military, right? Air Force, Marines, Army, they all have a PT test of like 1.5 miles, 3 miles, 2 miles, just because it's a test of their aerobic capacity. It's not because they need to run 2 miles in combat. It's because it's important to have that level of aerobic base in order to do the things you need to do for your job, for the 100%. Military.
100%. So to close this out, Carb said, I've often seen some of the high-level CrossFitters do like a hard strength training workout and do something like the rower or air bike afterwards just to increase blood flow. He said they seem to like it quite a bit to help recovery. So
I mean, yes, and there's through hard strength training, right? There's a misconception that lactic acid is what causes our muscles fatigue, and it's not. It's actually the buildup of hydrogen ions. We're not able to bond the hydrogen to CO2 to like exhale it out, right? So we are building up in high intensity hydrogen faster than we can expel it. So that's what the actual burning is. It's not lactic acid. So after a heavy training session, if you do a certain intensity rower or bike, that helps with, right, sustaining like an oxygen, breathing intensity. So you can flush out those hydrogens, allow your body to push them out, which will help recovery.
So Eric is officially not the one we send for help.
Hi, Eric. Eric's so cool. I like Eric.
So I can run a mile in about half an hour. Hey, you know what? Respect. All right, we'll put you on, I don't know, something else. You watch the camp while somebody else goes for help. All right. Let me see here. I think we've got one more. All right, here. This is the last one. And I know you have some definite opinions about this one. We're not going to be limited to just what they say in the article. So in the article, they said, does an elliptical or a treadmill give you a better workout? And my personal feeling is an elliptical is more joint friendly, but I have never done an elliptical session and felt like I had like some sort of, basically that it was hard. Okay. Whereas I've done treadmill sessions where I could feel it no matter how fast I was going. Right.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, like, how would you even make it, like, crank up an elliptical? So your arms, I can't. So, two-part question. Do you think which one's better, elliptical or treadmill? And which one do you like overall in terms of saying, if I had only one cardio machine to use, what would it be, the one that you pick?
The number one answer in fitness is it depends. As you pointed out, the elliptical is very joint friendly. So if there are people out there who have immobilization issues, have joint issues, are not like maybe any kind of prior injuries where they can't do loading, then the elliptical is going to be a great option for them, especially in the older population. When it comes to treadmill, as I said earlier today, right, it has more eccentric loading, right? You actually have to lift your foot off, like contract spot, you have your knee flexion, hip flexion, put your foot down, contraction, right? You actually have to have that loading, and there's a lot more forces being involved, right? You have ground reaction forces, friction forces, because you're actually moving a lot more, right, with your feet, which requires more energy, which is why the treadmill is harder. I personally will always recommend the treadmill over an elliptical if the person is capable, because it's going to mimic more closely our actual movements of walking to the mailbox, walking to the car, grocery shopping, right? It will only help the transferability to be able to move better. But there are people, as I said, that just isn't for them because of any like arthritis or what have you, right? They have some exceptions. So then the treadmill would be, or the elliptical would be for them. But I say like, hey, if you can do it, get on the treadmill. Treadmill would be so much better for so many reasons.
So I'm going to say, just from what I know of you, the step mill, it would be number one for you because of what you can get out of it, then treadmill. And I would put getting hit with a hammer and then doing the rowing machine.
Oh, I hate rowing.
I know. That's why I said it. Yeah. Actually would rather bit by insects than do the rowing machine. So yeah. It's like, because it's so boring, because I think that's another factor too. Is it something that that is going to keep your mind engaged enough to do it long enough for it to matter? You know what I mean? So like for me, like I think an elliptical is great if I'm learning to jog on the moon, because I don't think that the pattern of the pedals matches how I actually run, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. The transferability is not there.
Yeah, so I'm not into that. But yeah, I like that. Just pick whatever, whatever works for you. So before I let you get out of here, I mentioned we've got the thing going across for your Instagram. You've got an Instagram, do they call it like a channel on Instagram where you get people to subscribe to you and they get like blasts? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I mean, like you could subscribe, but I really don't have, you just support me. That's it.
All right. Well, we won't talk about that anymore. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Instead, then what I need you to do is subscribe to Ashley on YouTube. Let's see, I switched. All right. What do you have coming up next on your YouTube channel?
I have some more reviews coming out, and then I'm working on getting some more training-based content in the next month or two. Yeah. That's on the board.
Have you ever thought about doing like Q&A stuff?
No.
So, first of all, I recognize that there's a danger because of some of the stuff you sent me. You know what people are going to ask you. Okay, no joke. When I tell Naomi, like you send it to me, right? And I show it to Naomi, and I want you to know that we're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you. Okay. Okay. But I do think like Dan John does it. He's actually it looks like most of his channel is just based around answering questions people send him. I think they email him or whatever, right? So he'll curate the questions and pick the ones he wants to answer. Excuse me. So I can see that being something good for you with your educational background, because I think that you do a very good job of breaking stuff down and saying, let me put it in terms you can understand, while at the same time telling you the science and how the science applies in this situation. So, I think that's
I'll do that. Thank you. Good suggestion. I wrote it down.
Yeah, because I'm like, I would love to hear Ashley's take on this or this. Who else does that? The guy from JYM Army. God, what's his name? Jim. He's a scientist. He's got all the tattoos. Now it's gonna drive me nuts. Who's JYM? Oh, Jim Stepani. There we go. Yeah, Dr. Jim Stepani.
Yeah.
He does a lot of Q&A type stuff too. So yeah, and I just don't think that there are enough women in the space doing that. And I was like, I think that you're eminently qualified for that. So there you go. So everybody subscribe to Ashley the Amazing on YouTube. She's got more videos coming out. You've got a review you just did. Was it on the RitFit or was it on something else?
I'm gonna do. There's a freak athlete one coming out, and
Yes.
I'm also one coming out that I recorded that's comparing the spin bike to the assault bike to the bike erg and what the differences are.
Oh, that's dope right there. Okay, yeah, I like that. All right, so you guys make sure you look out for that. When it comes out, I will link to that video in the description for this video. But right now, go subscribe to Ashley the Amazing on YouTube. Ashley, thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Peace
you,
out.
John.
Peace out.
See ya.
See ya. All right, so that was Ashley Hromyak. She's awesome people. We love having her on. Every time she comes on here, look. If you don't follow her on Instagram and you don't subscribe to her on YouTube, you are doing yourself a disservice because Ashley has a ton of information and she makes it really easy to consume it. All right, let's go ahead and take that off there and let's go to the comment section. Let's see here. Okay, so Carp's Jim said, first of all, Carp said he's a proud member of Team 30-Minute Mile. Okay. Noted. Okay. You also are not going to be sent for help. Carp said, I've never puked on the elliptical. And while I would say that puking is not the goal, Michael Brantley would not agree. He said, I find that a nice vomit after a run is always soothing. Yeah, I don't live in that neighborhood. No, sorry. Oh man, Onan, I wish I'd seen that while Ashley was on. My opinion about weighted walks is I think well, it depends. So one thing I'll say about the rucking, and this actually is an example that I saw happen with one of my uncles. He got into rucking, and the type of thing he was using for rucking, the vest he was using, was essentially not that much different from using a pack. And so the weight was further out from the center of gravity of his body. I'm sorry, from the center of his body. And so he actually started experiencing hip pain. So we switched him to, coincidentally, the Ion weighted vest. That's actually how I ended up having experience with them. We switched him to that vest, and now he's able to do not just weighted walks, but also a lot of other things without pain, but it still increases the metabolic cost of doing what he's doing. So I think that's the value of the weighted walk, because it increases the metabolic cost of what you were going to do anyway. So it's not an additional workout. But I think you need to condition your body for it before you just run out there and start doing it. Matthew said the form of cardio you will actually do is the best one for you. Agree with that 100%. Kurt said, I find that the thought of running as a negative thing has a lot to do with the negativity surrounding max effort running. Yeah. I'm not trying to be out here running gassers in my parking lot in my dang cul-de-sac. He said most running is ideally done at a much lower intensity and can actually help promote recovery and overall health in general. You know, I also say too that a lot of people just find running boring. And so even like a jog is boring. Sprinting is over fast, but is more taxing on your body. So I think the habit. So what I prefer to do if I jog is just jog inside in the house on a treadmill and watch TV, you know, because it keeps me distracted. But yeah, I agree 100% with what you said. Let's see here. Shout out to Dustin. What's up, Dustin? Good having you here. And Kurt said, I agree with Matt Porter. If you do weighted walk or ruck, go for it. I would suggest modulating the intensity of the walks with the intent of elevating heart rate to a level approaching zone 2-ish. I mean, yeah. So I'll tell you like one example. I agree with that. But I'm also going to say, add to it, you know how they always say you should park further away from the grocery store, right? So that you increase your non-exercise physical activity. Okay. What if you park the same place you currently park, but you wear a weight vest? So it takes more effort to walk the same distance. That's progressive resistance. So I'm just adding that in as another factor in a way. I mean, obviously you don't have to be at the grocery store, but I'm saying you put a weight vest on, now you're increasing the difficulty. You're just increasing one variable. So don't do anything other than, so you start out walking a certain distance and then you add a weight vest to it after you've got your conditioning improved. And that way you're able to continue to make progress. Let's see here. Dustin says, way to go, Ash. Laying on the science. Oh, yeah, every single time. And Ashley said, weighted walks are great. I just got a Gold Ruck package of their 3.0 and 4.0 Rucker. Their stuff is well built. Carp said, Dan John. Yeah, Dan John is if you don't check out his stuff, you're doing yourself a disservice. He's got a lot of common sense simple, not necessarily easy, but simple to apply principles that work no matter what kind of training you do. But if you follow Dan John's programs, you will become a stronger, more agile, all-around better athlete. It'll just happen. It'll just happen. Kurt says, I like running outdoors for the added mental health benefits of being in nature. He said, go touch grass, stop staring at your screens. Yeah, I get that. So I'll tell you another thing about the treadmill. So when I was fighting, our coach used to make us do road work on the treadmill instead of running outside. Because he said, when you run outside and you get tired, you can slow down. But what he would do is set the treadmill where he wanted it, which had zero to do with where we wanted it. He thought where we wanted it was irrelevant. He set the treadmill and he kept the intensity where it was so that as we fatigued, we had to work harder in order to not fall off the treadmill. And then he would just stop it when he could tell that we couldn't go anymore, right? And he also did a thing too where it's like a 40-20 thing. So you set the treadmill at 80% intensity, right? So whatever your maximum speed is, you go back to 80% of that. And then you run on the treadmill for 40 seconds of every minute. And then you put your hands on the handles and straddle, put your feet on the rails. So you're straddling the belt and you rest for 20 seconds, right? So then when you get to the, get back to the minute mark, you run again, right? So you never reduce the speed of the treadmill. Instead, you run, rest, run, rest. And he liked that for the treadmill as well. And he liked that actually more than doing sprints outside. Because again, he said, you're doing sprints outside, well, your speed is going to slowly decrease as you fatigue. And he's like, I'd rather keep your intensity the same and cut the session short if we have to. And so that was it. So this little trip down memory lane. Well, to be honest with you, back when I was taking my sled out in the cul-de-sac, people did look at me strangely, but that was before CrossFit became popular. Now, most people have heard of CrossFit. They've seen the CrossFit Games or something. So when they see it, I don't even get, they don't even care. Now, if you're dying, you will get people watching you, but, that's just because they want to watch you die. Oh, shoot. We got Luke's Garage Gym in the house. What's up, my man? What is up? And Matt says, why run just 2 more reps? I mean, all joking aside, I remember reading an article by Robbie Robinson, or an interview with Robbie Robinson. He was former Mr. World, and he's one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's training partners. And he said they didn't actually do a lot of cardio because they kept their rest periods very short and their repetitions very high. But their 1 and 3 rep max wasn't what it could have been as a result of training that way. For somebody who's in a strength sport, I would much rather see like what Ashley suggested, which is just do some easy cardio at a time that is separated from your lifting, so it doesn't impact the lifting. Kurt says start working on conditioning and athleticism from modalities like jump training, and you'll see carryover. And I agree with that up to a point. Now I do know, if you're in danger of, well, let me just say that. I know a guy who was he was a world record squatter, and then his squat started to suffer because he was jumping too much. And so it started to impact the squat. But again, that goes back to, you need to kind of balance your training. You can't just, go crazy doing everything all the time. Basically be an adult. Just be an adult. Let's see here. So yeah, Matt defends me, say, yeah, it's all in good fun. Says I spent out. Well, that's true. Matt does a lot of hiking for his job. Remember, he wrestles deer in the park. So that's true. Forgot all about that. So if you already have a job where you get a ton of conditioning from non-exercise physical activity, then I can see why a cardio session wouldn't be as necessary. Because ultimately, look, all the time in the gym is kind of just meant to duplicate what we would have gotten if we lived in a pre-industrial society and worked on a farm. So yeah, there's that. All right, guys. So we are about to have my guy Jonathan from NoFate247 join the channel. There are 806 of you watching right now. Do me a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe, trying to grow the channel. You see I'm here sipping on my throat coat tea and trying to make it through because I'm fighting a cold. I normally do not sound like this, but this show matters enough to me that I have not and will not miss an episode. Last year we did 52 episodes straight, and we're going to do it again this year. So if you are down for that, you're on board for the ride, hit the like button and then hit subscribe so you can not only help us grow, but that you are here for the journey. Oh, I did remember something. I am also in favor of the treadmill if you're in a situation like I was when our kids were younger, because my wife wasn't working at home at the time. There was no way I could go out. I worked at night, and there's no way I could go out for a jog through the neighborhood. And our oldest at the time was 8, right? Well, no, he was younger than that. Yeah, he was younger than that. So, we had a 1-year-old. Well, first he was a baby. And then I remember a time we had a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old in the house. There ain't no way I'm leaving them at the house to go jogging. So that's when I really got back into the treadmill. But yeah, that's another factor that I need to point out. When your kids get older, yeah, heck, then you can take them with you if they want to go. All right, let me see if Jonathan is ready to go. Shout out to the Mountain Time Zone, by the way. Thank you guys for getting up way too early with Garage Gym Life. We're talking to Ashley Hromyak from Ashley the Amazing YouTube channel, and we are about to be joined by my guy Jonathan from NoFate247, and we're going to be reacting to Peter Keller's Instagram Live AMA from yesterday. And one of the reactions comes from the man himself, the Statty Daddy. So you guys stand by for that. Let me check and make sure that Jonathan is here. And while I do that, we're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and that is Bells of Steel. Check them out.
5 reasons of why to buy from me. Number 1, the best bang for your buck and innovative fitness equipment. Number 2, we put out more educational content. Number 3, our customer service and sales team. Number 4, I spend a ton of time logistics and packaging. Number 5, I've got 9,000 plus reviews. So get on our website and let the gains begin.
All right, so that's Bells of Steel. You can go ahead, and if you want to support the show, you want to use the affiliate link. I'm going to post that right here in the live chat. Visit Bells of Steel, uses the affiliate link, and you will save on, put the affiliate link in there, and then you'll be supporting the show, and then you are free to use any of their discounts that they have. So sometimes affiliate links will clash with the sales that a brand has on their website. The Bells of Steel affiliate link doesn't do that. So you can support the show and save money in the process. And so if you do decide to do that, we appreciate it. All right. So backstage, we got my guy, Jonathan. Are you ready to go? All right. Let's go ahead and bring you on stage here. This is our second guest of the day. Everybody show your love for Jonathan. The fat guy has returned.
John, I know you're feeling under the weather. Thankfully, I'm here. So you can just sit back, relax. I'll take things from here. As usual, the biggest guest you've had on this show. I've been on more than anyone else. I don't know if that's just because I'm amazing or no one else is going to want to come on this show. But the good news is because you squashed the beef with Gluck, I was able to wear his shirt on your show without having offense. I'm still waiting for Gluck to come on here, but I'm glad you squashed the beef. So, for anyone listening, there's no longer any beef between Gluck and Garage Gym Life. They're not butting heads. They're not avoiding each other by any stretch of the imagination.
Which we weren't doing in the first place.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, you know what? My voice is not up to the task of arguing.
All right, John, you wanted me to talk about the Dane 2.0 that got released yesterday, but there was a pre-release the day before if you got their text messages, and a whole bunch of fit influencers got it the week before that, and we saw Coop drop his review of it yesterday morning ahead of Gluck's usual noontime drop in order to kind of get those affiliate link sales. And I don't know how long he had it. Mathematically, by my calculations, he had it for like a couple of days before he was able to film. So maybe he got a workout in with it. Maybe. So what do you want to know about the Dane 2.0? Because Peter Keller, who's a national treasure, let's be honest, owner of Fringe Sport, had a live stream where he was just freezing because it's 22 degrees in Texas, and it never hits that kind of temperature in Texas. And he was just giving it to us raw, right off the cuff, just being honest with us. He dropped a few swears, but hey, he had that BTE, big Texas energy, and that's what we love about him.
So that entire opening segment is why you've been on the show more than anybody else. That right there. All right. I want you to take a second to inhale. All right, you used up all your available oxygen, so I'm gonna let you recover while I ask you this question. So the thing about that sparked me to reach out to you actually was because you released a video earlier this week, and I've got the video link in the description for this one. But you were talking about the problems with the Dane 1.0, and I thought it was interesting because you brought up, the 8 months thing. It's only been 8 months since 1.0. Now 2.0 is out. To me, it sounds like they listened to user feedback, made improvements. Why do you think it's a problem when a brand releases version 1 and then quickly releases version 2, to fix known issues?
Okay, well, there's two sides to the coin. So when I first heard that they were releasing the 2.0 so quickly, I was like, initially, because I'm a pessimist, I was just mad because I'm like, that's way too soon. Clearly, they were using the customers from the 1.0 as guinea pigs to basically test their products. Now, if you guys remember, we'll roll the train up the tracks. The 1.0 came out. A whole bunch of people got paid to make reviews. They were extremely favorable. Surprise, surprise. And then Gluck dropped his video, and kudos to him. He takes the time to use the equipment, dropped his video, and most of it was favorable, but he did mention a couple of issues like the cable length travel path, as well as the pulley resistance in terms of how it felt, and of course that first pin being 15 pounds, which for you, John, is no big deal. But when you're doing lateral raises, if you're a smaller individual, or if you're like me and you've got small, weak arms, that is a large amount, especially the first pin 15, the second pin 25.
My daughter uses 15 pounds.
Okay. So initially I was mad because they dropped it, and I'm like, man, they just hosed their first customers. But take a breath, relax, and of course, Peter Keller made it right. He came out a number of times and on yesterday's live stream and said they're going to have multiple options for people who have the 1.0 to upgrade, whether that involves just getting new pulleys because they just decided to actually use really good anodized pulleys, or if it involves, getting the smaller plates that they're using in order to increase the cable length, etc. So they're going to have multiple avenues. If you call customer service directly and speak to a human being, their customer service is fantastic. You're going to get hopefully a solution that you're happy with. And the reason this is a problem is because let's look at the Aries, right? That was dropped. People loved it. And then Rep Fitness released, I think, the teaser for the 2.0, like a year later, we'll say, for reference. And then, of course, it didn't come out for months and months and months after that. But a lot of people that got the 1.0 were like, man, now Rep Fitness has not made any type of consolidations for the 1.0 people. What they did do is anyone that bought right before the announcement of the 2.0 or afterwards got a discount. So they basically got a gift card or money back. So kind of like, you didn't get the 2.0, but we're going to give you like a $500 gift card to kind of bridge the gap. So you're happy. And of course, any type of, based on the changes that Rep Fitness made with the Aries 2.0, it would really be hard to have like a kit in order to upgrade your 1.0 without spending like some serious Boku bucks.
All right. So there's something, there's a couple of comments that I want to pull up from your actual video. So I'm going to do this right now.
Yeah, we got a lot of great comments. That's what I love about this community. People provide some really in-depth feedback on my videos, especially when I screw up. That's when they really let me know, where I have messed up. Yeah, I love them.
So the one I'm looking at is the one with Jason Gore 4052. And he said, I'll just read his comment. He said, I got the 1.0, haven't even gotten it put in together yet. They're already dropping 2.0. I emailed Fringe about how upset I was, and they told me that 1.0 buyers would be able to purchase a discounted 2.0, and we could sell our 1.0 racks on the marketplace to offset the cost, which is different than what you heard. And he says someone at Fringe is lying, either the CEO or their customer service. No,
if you watch the live stream, now the live stream was long, and the problem with Instagram live streams is you can't fast forward, or you can't even watch it like double speed, which is a problem. But thankfully, because I knew I was coming on this show, I do the research. Okay, I type in the interwebs, and Peter Keller didn't say it specifically, but he alluded to the fact that they're going to have different responses in terms of making people happy. So for some people, they're going to want a 2.0. They're probably going to give them a massive discount and just say, hey, sell your 1.0. We'll give you the 2.0 at, whatever, 50% off. And some people, they're going to just send them new pulleys, okay? Or they're going to sell them new pulleys, right? Or sell them, new attachments. So, and you got to remember too, the 1.0 is cheaper than the 2.0. So the people who got the 1.0 got, relatively speaking, a better price point for the first version versus the second version, which is now creeping up, if you get the stainless steel uprights, to close to $3,000. And then you got to look at all those attachments that they really, that's where they make their money, is those attachments.
So since we were in your comment section a second ago, and I want to get him while he's watching, hang on there and make sure we haven't missed any comments. So everybody's saying, so Luke said he's checking in. I mean, I'm telling you, we got like 826 people watching. It jumped up when you got here. There was a spike. Okay, so that's the other reason you're always on the show. But yeah, let me go back to your video, because
go back to my video, John. Listen, that's what I want you to do before you do anything. Go back to my video, and I want you to scroll all the way to the top. I want to see if you liked the video. Okay, we're gonna keep you honest here. All right, I want to see if you like this video, because if I see a thumbs down, we're gonna have words.
See that right there?
Man.
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Look at that right there. Look at that right there. I put a comment. I liked and I commented.
Like and comment. Right. There we go.
I'm all over the algorithm for you. All right. So it looks like Carp's Gym also commented. All right. But this is what I wanted to highlight. So the Statty Daddy himself, Kurt Locker, said, I have commented this before, but friends definitely did not screw anyone over. They made a Dane, distributed some for content, and got reviews. Updating design based upon consumer feedback is where I applaud Fringe and PK, and the fact that the updated version came out quick is ideal. He said, I have had a V1 unit before, and yeah, you get a little annoyed when the V2 comes out, but ultimately V2 is going to happen, and in my opinion, they owe nothing to the version 1 customers. If they want to extend an olive branch, they could potentially offer a version 1 improvement kit at a typical Fringe price, but I don't think they owe this at all. Fringe Sport is an import business that ultimately has to work in batches of units. So at the end of the day, selling the version 1s is fine, because although version 2 is improved, version 1 still works just fine. So first of all, for those of you who saw the spirited exchange between Peter and Kurt Latt from last week, that continued into the comments. Like a couple days later, they were still exchanging comments. Now you know that Kurt doesn't hate Peter because he just defended him, okay? But I do want to get your reaction to what Kurt just said.
Yeah,
Some of which you've already reacted to, but go ahead.
100% correct in terms of, like, and listen, if I give a dog a bone, I don't want to hear how it tastes. When they sell the Dane 1.0, they had good faith consideration. They knew what they were doing. You were getting a good product at a good price. And now the 2.0 is coming out. And frankly, it raises a higher issue of more companies need to be improving existing products. I could think of like 5 products right now that are good, and they're like 6 years old, and that company is still selling them and hasn't touched them, but they could be great with just a few known improvements. And I don't think the companies owe it. I do think, in terms of customer experience, I think when a company develops a product, when they're doing their R&D, they should see what are clear standouts, what are clear issues, and try to fix them before they get them into the person's hand. We see this with software. You get an update on your phone, and all of a sudden the phone's glitchy, and then like a month later you get a new update that fixes it, right? So oftentimes you see software coming out that just isn't there. So it's a balancing act, because if you wait too long, then you're going to miss that window. So I don't fault Fringe for doing it. I applaud them for trying to improve their existing equipment. I wish more companies would try to improve their existing equipment. A lot of times, you see these companies with smaller items that are maybe like, 4 or 5 years old, like just fix them up, add some better knurling to them, and boom, you're going to have a much better product. And they just don't, because it costs them money to do the R&D, to get a new batch, to get a new system, to work out the kinks.
All right. So, to that point, I saw some other people in your comment section. I'm not going to go back to this one because multiple people said it. they said that Fringe is able to make changes faster because they're a smaller brand. But I would say my pushback on that is what Kurt said. They still have to deal with production runs from an overseas factory. And people don't think about the fact that if I make a run of a product, that represents a financial investment. I had to pay people to make it. Every step in the manufacturing process had to ultimately be paid for by me, and I don't get my money back until you buy it. So they were still dealing with version 1s, and then at the same time paying for version 2 before they sold all their version 1s. You know what I mean? Because version 2 came out already built. So that means while version 1 was selling, they were paying money to make version 2.
Yeah.
And I think people so I applaud them for saying, hey, look, we're going to potentially take a loss on this because how many people are going to want the version 1s now?
Yeah, exactly. Once they know the 2's out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I applaud them for actually doing this. I actually think that a fix for this, man, is you mentioned software. I think, honestly, a fix for this is if gym equipment companies would increase their use of beta testers, like what they do with video games.
Yeah.
Gaming is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and you get a lot of YouTube content creators, Twitch streamers will be asked to beta test games before they hit the public to help get rid of bugs. And we think, oh, well, it's digital. What bugs? Well, actually, games, there's a lot involved in it. I remember, man, there was a video game called Max Payne, and it was set in Brazil.
I remember that game.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the backstory with it?
No.
Dude, they sent people to Brazil to walk around, and I think in some of the areas you go in. So they're walking around like these areas where these Brazilian gangs are, and their job was to walk around and just record street conversation.
How to get bugs 101.
Yeah. Are you crazy? So there was a lot of financial investment in that game. They had beta testers to make sure they got the bugs worked out. And I mean, sometimes they still don't, but you know what I mean? Before the game actually gets sold to the public. And I think that gym equipment brands need to do more of this. I know that some do. All you got to do is make a limited run of a product. You know, pick out however many influencers you're going to send it to, and only make those, send it to them and get their feedback, because you're going to test it anyway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like last month, Naomi and I were asked to give feedback on an unreleased product, not from Fringe, and it's still under embargo. So all I can say is we gave them their feedback for improvements, including the fact that I said, hey, you know, it seems to me that this thing that you made is potentially infringing on the copyright, or the trademark rather, of another already existing product that's known in the home gym community. So my advice to you is, 1, don't put it out. 2, reach out to the brand that already has that product out and see it, because they're a smaller brand than you, see if you guys can work together, and then you can, you know, avoid some fallout. Now, what if they hadn't beta tested it with us? What if they just put it out?
Yeah. They get a lot of flack. That's what happens.
Yeah. Hey, Rogue Fitness, are you listening? You know, Mutant Metals, sound familiar? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It happens all the time. I mean, in terms of like beta testing, I know Rep Fitness with their Pepin crossover, this kind of goes both ways. They teamed up with Pepin, but they brought their initial design to HomeGymCon. They brought it to FIBO, which is in Germany, because Germany's that way. And a lot of people tested it out and gave their initial thoughts, and it was, I mean, they made some small changes so you could see the numbers better. They made changes on it, but it was that feedback of people kind of touching it, using it, being like, well, I wish this was a little bit darker, or I could see this a little bit easier, or the pop pin had a bit more, you know, differential between the handle. Right. So I mean, I think there's ways to do that, and again, like you said, it costs money, but we're seeing a lot of these companies pre-order, you know, they set up these pre-orders or these advanced orders, and that kind of covers their backside. You know, even a lot of these companies, they've got these initial runs, they know they're going to sell out, and then they just put the pre-order, and everything's a pre-order nowadays. Look at Rep Fitness. They had those handles with Clever Built, the collaboration. The first orders just sold out. And now if you go online and you want to buy them, I was just checking the other day, it's a May delivery date. So if you bought it today, it would be delivered in May. So it's like, so even these companies that have existing products are still kind of working the system so they get their money in and covering themselves up.
So Rory said, I understand customer annoyance. He said, I sent the megalith handles to a number of people, including Kurt, to beta test them before selling them to customers. It seems that Dane could have been tested more. I mean, well, but I'm going to flip the other side on the company's behalf. Content creators. Well, we got a few of you watching right now. I see you. Shout out to everybody who's watching. All right. And I'm not calling you guys out specifically, but I'm just saying
we would never do that. We would never do that.
I'm just saying content creators in general. If a company sends you something to beta test, please don't post it on Instagram. They're sending it to you because they're not ready to put it on market yet. If you put it on Instagram or your YouTube because you want to get clicks on your video or whatever, now you got people asking them, hey, where's the this? Where's the that? And the company's not ready to bring it out yet. So I don't know if this was the situation, but think about the Manicore. Think how long people were like, where's the Manicore? Where's the Manicore? Where's the Manicore for Bells of Steel? Do you think Kayvon wanted to open up his dang inbox every day and see a billion DMs about where's the Manicore? Yeah, you want buzz, but you don't want to be annoyed. And I'm like, if you want us to have the ability to have access to things like this, I think Victoria Dorsano told me that she was part of beta testing for the Nordic, the Freak Athlete reverse hyper, right? And if we want to have access to things like that, to be able to get stuff early before the general public, you got to exercise some restraint and conduct yourself like a professional. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
loose lips sink ships, John. Lips sink ships, you know?
I mean, dang. I mean, seriously. Think about Rory. He's got a small company, right? He sends the handles to Kurt. Kurt goes in and posts it on Instagram. Hey, look at these cool handles I just got. And what if Rory had to make changes?
Yeah, I mean, so a lot of these companies too. A lot of these companies too have a marketing teams, and they're looking to really like smash that initial release and really like, so when they do decide to sell it or drop a teaser, that it goes kind of hard and goes viral or goes everywhere. And if your Joe Q public is just posting, hey, look at this, it's not even done yet, and it kind of like defeats the purpose. And that's why you do have some embargoes. So
Luke said, if you're hoping to mass produce a product that will have high interest, it's 2025. Send it to a few people you trust, let them use it, get their feedback, send it back to the shop and work on it. I'll also say, I think this goes back to the company. For God's sake, don't just pick influencers who are like in the best tip-top shape, because some of the people who are going to be your customers, don't just send them all to Jonathan's house. Some of the people who are your customers are going to be short. You're going to be tall.
Yeah.
You're going to be men.
Yeah.
You're going to be women.
Yeah.
How about get a cross section of the dang population to beta test?
Yeah, send it to someone you don't like, because you send it to all these people that you're like, hey, here's free product, and by the way, here's your affiliate code. And what kind of feedback do you get? It's the Emperor's got no clothes on. It's like, oh, this is great. I've had this for a day, and it's the best thing ever. And oh, this is awesome value. Blah blah blah. And like, oh, it's just so sickening to watch these videos. Get someone who's going to beat it up, who's going to try to break it, who's going to try to use it actually in their daily workout before they make the video. And shout out to Glock. I know I'm a big Glock fan, but he could have probably dropped his video yesterday on the Dane 2.0, and he would have probably gotten a bunch of sales. Okay, whether it was a good or bad, and he didn't. He dropped some Stairmaster thing with his wife Winnie, but he has it in house. It's assembled. He could have puked up some type of video and gotten it out in a day or two, like some other people have, and he didn't, because he wants to do in-depth, detailed reviews. And that's what, when you're looking at product before you buy anything, you got to trust the reviews you're watching. And if the person's all glowy, and here's my affiliate links, you got to have a grain of salt with when viewing that.
So I don't want to miss this. You got us. My man Kevin from Home Gym Gains in Japan said you got him on a NutraBio product one time. He said you're a master at reviews.
Yeah, well,
So
listen, that's tough. I'm surprised I mean, NutriBio is one of those companies that is international. I didn't know they made it all the way to Japan. You know, really good company. They've been around since '96, and they did set at the time. They set the standard for transparency and manufacturing at a certified GMP facility, federally inspected too. Now, because of them, a lot of other companies have, we've seen copycats in the industry, on all industries. Hey, this company's making their business by offering clean products, third-party tested. Let's do the same thing, and that's a good thing for the supplement industry.
oh yeah. So Kevin, I don't know if so when Kevin came on, he had a nondescript black bag that he claimed had protein in it. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying it was black. You couldn't see through it, and it had like a little zipper top, like a Ziploc top, and it looked very sketchy. He's oh yeah, it's protein.
I mean, if you're doing like 3 protein shakes a day, you really have to analyze what's wrong with your diet, that you're not getting enough protein in your normal diet. I mean, I love supplements. I've got 500, 600 videos reviewing supplements, but the reality is whole food is always going to be the best answer, and then supplement when you can't meet those needs with whole food.
All right, 100%. Another off-topic one. Shout out to Keith. Honeycut. No,
yeah, people hate that sound, and I get so many negative comments. And the problem is, the negative comments help me out so much that I throw it back in. Now, for those of you who really hate that sound effect, I did tamper down the volume when I was listening it back. Wow, it was like my door was going off too, and I loved it. And then everyone was like, "I've got a dog, and the dog goes crazy." And I was like, "I don't care about your dog."
Dog's barking.
You know, if you guys knew how long it takes for me to drop in those little sound effects to make you interested, to make you excited to watch these videos, you guys would watch a lot more. Let's put it that way, okay? But yeah, my videos are awesome. They got sound effects, they got special effects, they got cameos, they've got B-roll up the wazoo. And listen, what's more to love? I even got slow-mo. The last video that you showed, I've got slow-mo of the snowblower, and oh man, it's beauty in the making.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this anyway. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I just want to show people. Look at these scene changes here. Okay, wow, look at that. This guy, he's out here skiing. I mean, what's going on here? He's all over the place.
This is 4K.
Bam,
people. Boom.
Bam.
Like just
look at that.
Around.
This is all in the same video.
Yeah,
this is amazing. I mean, look, I'm not going to show you anymore. You need to go to his channel and watch it. I'm just telling you, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, you're going to be moved emotionally. So back to the Dane. Jared said, if this happened a year from now, in terms of the 2.0, he said some people would still be upset because they had just bought the 1.0. It is what it is. So, I mean, do you think there's any point in saying, okay, well, because I think this is what people think should happen. I don't know if it's realistic or not. I want to get your feedback. You make the 1.0, you sell all of them, and then you take it out of stock.
Yeah.
And then you make the 2.0, let a period of time pass, then you bring out the 2.0. And I'm like, do you understand how much money they're losing while
you can do the
Rogue every day.
Mean, what Rogue does, or at least I know this, they've done this with their multi-grip bar that I have, is what they'll do is they won't tell you the new one's coming out, but they'll discount, which is they never do. They'll discount the previous version. So you're like, wow, it's on sale. Like they do that like around Black Friday. They drop it, it's on sale, and then after Black Friday, they release the new version that has a couple of extra features on it. So they got me there on the multi-grip bar, but I was really happy with the bar, so I didn't need the improved features, which just stop the sleeves from spinning, because I actually like the spin on the sleeves. But
all right. Carb said there's a rumor that Fringe wants to come out with it at 3,500. Which I think is a little bit too high, even with a 2.0, because that puts you in rep or rogue territory. What do you think about the price point?
Yeah, so Peter Keller on yesterday's video said what we've always known, that Fringe Sport is never going to be the lowest cost provider of home gym goods. They're never going to be the most expensive. They work on good value, good pricing, and high customer service. And it does come in to an issue of where are we going to spend the money, because you get the price high enough, and then it just doesn't matter. Like after a certain amount, you're going to be like, well, why don't I just get the creme de la creme? I'm already 3,000 in the hole. What's another 600, right? So you've got to find that balancing act, and it's really tough. And it also, because it's a company like Fringe Sport throws lots of sales, they need to keep it high enough that they can throw sales to offer you freebies and not lose their shirt. Whereas companies like Rep and Rogue usually don't offer many sales. It's the price is the price. And, if you want it, you got to pay the man this money.
All right. So Carp said the follow-up to that, he says, I think the 2,500 to 3,000 price point is where they need to be if they want to sell them and compete.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's a reasonable price point for everything they're delivering. One thing that they did mention in the video, and I wish he had actually had an example of it, was adding additional weight to the weight stack via plates. And I don't know if he's coming out with an attachment or if it's patented by GymPin. GymPin's a European company that does have a patent on that, but I've seen a bunch of other companies copy it anyway, regardless. So I don't not necessarily I'm not condoning it. Yeah, they do have a patent
in Europe, right? But their patent is in Europe. They don't have a patent here in the States. So that's how the companies, so like Bear Steel was able to do it because GymPin didn't have a US patent. They had a patent in overseas.
Yeah, but I know microplates, you're familiar with microplates, they're over here. Yeah. They actually sell GymPin products that they make, but they actually paid GymPin for the rights. Of course, microplates does it right. But anyway, I wish that they would focus a bit more on that, because a lot of people, their concern is, hey, I want to do a lat pull down, very similar to the Bells of Steel pulley tower. They want to do a super heavy lat pull down, so they need a way to add weight to both sides so they can do that. So I think if Fringe worked out an attachment or an upgrade or something where it's like, okay, you connect these and now you can throw on, an extra 180 pounds and be all superhuman about it. But it's the price points are so tough because, for every person that sells at 200, 2,500, there's going to be, 2,200 out there. It's with slightly different details. And there's going to be 2,700 with slightly better improvements. It's really, really tough. And as the prices go up, to Carp's point, it's like, I don't know why you wouldn't just get whatever you want to get. Like this is my dream home gym setup. Just buy it, because the sub dream setup is still going to cost you an arm and a leg. So why not go all in versus having to sell it?
Let's see here. Shout out to my guy Jack from Brimhall Barbell Club. What's up, man?
Yeah, that dude's super strong. I did a collab with that man. Awesome. That guy was awesome.
The collab you did with him is how I found out about him. That's what led to me interviewing him, because I saw that you were collabed with him. So
yeah, more people in the community need to collaborate with smaller content creators. I think they're afraid that if they do, they're going to give them like a platform or something. But I think it's fun to bring. I think it's fun to bring people in that maybe that offer something new, and just see what they have to say. Get them on, get them the reps they need to improve their content, and basically sometimes it's steel sharpens steel, diamond sharpen diamonds. You need people that are going to push you. So you get someone new, fresh, new ideas. He's got, maybe they're better looking, they got a better take, they got a better gym, better, whatever. You can learn from that. You can pull from that. You can try to improve yourself through that.
This is actually an interesting take from Carp. He said that Dane 1.0 seems to be more of a white label product, but the Dane 2.0 seems to be more of a fringe, unique product. What do you think about that?
Well, I do like the fact that they went with stainless steel uprights. We've seen, listen, clear coat obviously looks fantastic, but I have seen, and this is a rarity, but where you get like rust spots over time. And when you put that kind of investment in, you want it to last. So the stainless steel uprights are nice. They're differential. I haven't seen very many or anyone else do that. So it's nice. It's very nice. This is my daughter. She's just on February vacation here. So, but it's very nice to see that they're putting in the extra attachments, the red pop pins, the little accoutrement that really sets it apart from everything else on Amazon. So it's nice to see them doing that, and hopefully to do more of it in the future.
So what's funny? So Matthew Porter and I were talking about it, and he's the reason he pointed out they switched to red pulleys. And I was like, I didn't even notice that. So then I asked Peter during the Instagram live, I'm like, well, why'd you switch to red pulleys, right? They're still aluminum. And he's like, it was just an aesthetic choice. But now, it's something that you'll remember if you see the red pulleys, because you're like, oh, it'll make it stick out in your head. So that does make sense to me. A couple more here. So Luke had to go. But he did say, he kind of echoed what you said, where he said, he said Titan did the thing about, bringing your stuff out, like what Rep did with the Pepins and stuff. He said Titan did that HomeGymCon with that leg machine as a prototype for the people to use and give feedback. So that's another option. Excuse me. You have like these trade shows, especially HomeGymCon. Take it there. Because, if you go to some of the other trade shows, maybe you won't get good feedback. Because like somewhere like FIBO, you got like the buyers from big gym chains. They may not really care about the nuances of stuff. But you go to HomeGymCon, you'll get people who give you valuable feedback. So I 100% agree about that. You got a shout out to the snowblower.
Yeah, it's listen, the snowblower got a TRT boost because I sent it to the shop to get it fixed, and yeah, they gave it that good stuff, the premium pharmacy stuff, and now it's running like a gem.
He said you could hear the snow hitting your jacket because your mic is legit too.
Yeah,
so
my mic is legit. I finally
snowblower. Yeah.
Listen, the channel is premium. Okay, if you guys knew the amount of money and time and energy, okay, that I was shelling out for this channel, you guys would really be watching my videos a lot more. You'd be going back to the old stuff, which is horrible and unwatchable, and just watch it to help out the algorithm.
Upgraded the cold tub. I was like, this money's just going just left and right. I was like, look at this,
just out the window, just out the window.
Throw it out the window. Kurt said that your sound effects trigger is PTSD.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I have been trying to use less, and I've been trying to lower the volume, but they're not going to go away because who else is putting awesome sound effects into their videos? Nobody. This is the only leg I've got to stand on with my content.
And now Joey said every time he hears a doorbell anywhere, he yells, "Check it in." There you go. That's what you should do. That's appropriate. Let's see. Joey said also, he says, I like Fringe a lot, but I wouldn't buy from them unless I'm getting at least 10% off, and they run sales frequently. So I would say Fringe Sport isn't necessarily where I go first to get something, but a lot of times when I need an attachment for something, so for example, I got a rack in and the rack didn't have a rig step, and I wanted a rig step, to step up on, right? And so I went to Fringe Sport because I know that they build their stuff to be compatible with other brands. So Fringe Sport and even Bells of Steel, those are brands that are on my list of places I can go if I've got something from somebody that doesn't fit or that doesn't have all the parts or whatever. I'm like, okay, I know I can go to Bells of Steel. I know I can go to Fringe Sport, and they'll probably have what I need to fit it. So they fit in the ecosystem there for me.
Now, John, I got to mention something I forgot earlier about Fringe, and what they're doing really well is they're adding lifetime warranties to a lot of their stuff. They're adding them to their bumpers. They're adding them to the Dane 2.0, and it makes sense. You're making equipment that's really not going to break in a home gym. So you can offer a lifetime warranty in a home gym, and you can stand by that. And that gives people, assurance that if I buy this, I'm not going to be left, out of, 3 years from now, I'm not going to be left holding a broken product. And I don't think it costs these companies any money because let's face it, how is a huge power rack going to break? I mean, at what point, what meteorite's going to have to drop on it for it to cease to be a power rack, right? Or a barbell, or even their bumper plates. Again, home gym environment. Now, maybe they don't want to warranty them at a CrossFit gym or a local gym where they're going to get, 1,000 times more use per day. But I wish more companies would do this in terms of the lifetime warranties. We've seen that with the Pepins, which is another good selling point. But Rep Fitness, I think on their handles that they just released, they had like 3-year warranties, and like on the UMHW was only 1 year. I don't know. I thought they really should have stepped up and got a longer warranty, because again, to replace some of these things, especially if it's just a part off of the UMHW off of like a Genesis jack, it's small potatoes compared to knowing when you buy something, you've got that lifetime warranty and you can stand by it. And frankly, you can justify the extra cost because it's a lifetime warranty.
Exactly. It says NoFate's daughter is checking in. Ding.
Yeah. The kids do not care about my YouTube channel. If you ever see them in a video, rest assured it's not me trying to get views. It's just because they just happen to be playing in the background, and they are not going to stop what they're doing from my YouTube channel whatsoever.
You tell her come back and do something crazy because the views spiked when she came on. So let's see here. Joey said, is Warhawk Red Fringe's version of Prime Lime?
I think so. Dane mentioned Peter Keller mentioned that they went with the red, even though Fringe actually is known for green. Like if you look at their branding, a lot of their stuff is green. They went with the red just because it looked better. It had a better offset on the black on their attachments, so that's why they went with the red pulleys and the red pop pins. But I think that was just a random choice of what looks best with this piece of equipment.
All right, now Jared is actually strong. He says absolutely on extra plates. He's at 160 pounds for a lat pull down or row. He's on the light side.
Yeah, that dude's a monster. Okay, he's sending me videos of him overhead pressing like 250.
He does it to you too.
He sends them to me, and I'm like, buddy, I get it. You're strong. You're like way stronger than me. I'm like, this is how I feel bad about myself. I watch him overhead pressing, 250, and I'm over here with like 95 pounds on a heavy day, and I'm like, but props to him. He puts the work in. He's got everything on lockdown in terms of that strength.
So I'm competitive. So I see it and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. So I run downstairs and then that sound of my back going out. My wife is like, okay, you've been watching Jared's videos again. I said, I just only watched one. All right. So Jameson, what's up, Jameson? He said brand loyalists will always exist to keep companies thriving regardless of prices. Fringe is my second loyalty. You already know my first. Yeah, I know you're a fan of Bridge Belt. You need to tell your boy from Bridge Belt to come on my show. All right, he's been ghosting me forever, and that will not stand. You tell him he needs to come on my show.
Yeah, him, Coop, Glock. I mean,
no,
we got to get some.
Hold on, let's back up a little bit. Gluck has an open invite. I don't want Coop on I don't want him on my block. I wouldn't if I looked outside and he was putting my trash in the truck to take it away. I'd run out and take it from him and get a new trash service. I do not like that dude at all.
Tell me how you wow. This is I didn't even know you had beef with Coop.
I
thought your beef was only with Glock. Now it's with Coop. Okay, we're gonna listen. We got to squash this beef.
Again, I got no beef with Gluck.
Not anymore. After I helped you squash it, absolutely.
Worthless. Okay. I'm being victimized, and my voice is going. Anyway, but yeah, no, I do not like Coop. I don't even like talking about Coop, and I don't like people who like talking about Coop. So let's just stop. All right. Anyway, there's something. Here we go. I knew we were gonna go. I was waiting for where we were gonna make the left turn.
Kurt, be careful what you ask for. You may just get it because he'll send you all the videos. I mean, his videos are awesome. I love him. He's got videos of his. Have you ever seen his deck? This guy's a man's man.
It's pretty nice. Yeah.
He tore down the old deck with his bare hands.
I'm about to say by hand. Yeah.
And he built the new deck with his bare. Listen, if I grab a hammer, I'm gonna have like a broken finger. If I grab a saw, I'm gonna be missing a finger. I don't touch that stuff because I just know it's a recipe for disaster. But this dude, listen, on a weekend, he's probably gonna tear out his front steps and replace them. That's the kind of masculinity he has. He just oozes machismo.
Yeah, and the thing you left out is he did all that before lunch. After lunch, he did a max rep in the shoulder press. So you gotta, let's not leave that part out. That was all before lunch. Let's see here. Eric wants me to get Rob on. So Rob is still tied up with all the stuff for Sorenex. He's writing the book about Pop Soren, who passed away tragically last year. And so he said he's not even doing much. He and I had one conversation because it's kind of a random thing, but I saw a woman's video. She's in Australia and she actually refurbishes old dumbbells and old plates. And she said in her video, there's this channel I learned a lot from. It's called Vintage Weights. He's in America, right? And she doesn't have a very big channel, but I heard that. I said, I know that guy. So I sent him the link and I told her, I said, hey, I happen to know Rob. I said, so he'd love to know that, his videos are helping you. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I'm definitely going to get him on here first chance I get. And that's the other thing too, because of his day job, it's hard to get him on here, but we are working on it. We are definitely working on it to get him on here, Eric. In fact, you need to go tell him to echo it, like reinforce what I'm saying to get him on here.
And after that, ask Gluck to get on here too. I mean, let's face it, he's get up on here,
Adrian has an open invite. I think it's funny that we call him Gluck, but we call his wife Winnie, even though both their names are Gluck.
I know.
That's funny. But no, I'll say it again. He has an open invite to come on the show anytime he wants, and he can talk about whatever he wants. Let me. Yes, seriously, go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'd love to have him on here. And then Jameson said, I said get Eccles and Robin and I guess himself. He just spoke of himself in the third person. He said, and Jameson on the Grip Round Table. All right, we're going off the rails now. So do you think that Peter did enough in his live stream to put any fears to rest?
Yes, 100%. He did enough beforehand because he's in the chats. The Fringe has their own Facebook group, but of course, Garage Gym Reviews Facebook group is probably the biggest, and he's in there all the time, chatting up people, answering people's comments. I mean, he'll take on the worst Fringe haters in the world and just give them honest answers. He's really good. He's done AMAs that he was really good about. They did a whole bunch of videos, but the live stream too was really good. I honestly wish they pre-recorded the live stream and kind of put it on YouTube and Instagram separately, so people could actually have it as a reference point and then skip around to the certain questions that he was answering. But they did a really good job, and he's been very transparent, which that's what we want these days. We want transparency. We don't want, he tells us when he's going to raise prices. All these other companies pretend like, hey, the price just went up overnight. I don't know who changed the website price. It's like, no, they know they're raising the prices and they hope no one catches them. And of course, they're always going to get caught.
I think we kind of touched on this already, but I want to just ask you specifically, what was your favorite part of the rollout of the Dane 2.0? Either from the AMA yesterday or just from any of the promotional content? Like, what's the part about it that you're like, you know what, I really like this part of how they did this part of the rollout?
I mean, I like, honestly, this is going to sound stupid. Peter just saying like, listen, we're going to make it right for the customers with the 1.0. We're going to have a kit, to upgrade. Like because when you buy when you buy an Aries, when you buy from Rep or Rogue or Bells of Steel, you're kind of locked into their ecosystem, okay, for the most part. And it's very hard to transition to anything else. So knowing that these companies are going to not leave you behind is nice. Look at a company like Freak Athlete with their Hyper Pro. They've added a whole bunch of improvements, but they always make them, at least up to this point, backwards compatible. So they're not leaving their old customers behind. So something like that, it just shows me that, when they say they care about their customers, Peter's not just selling wolf tickets. He really cares about his customers.
No, I'm going to show you guys this because I don't want you to think that we are making this up, all right? This is the stuff I get sent. It is right here.
This is a light day for Jared. This is a light day. I hate to break it to you. This is,
Yeah, he was on a caffeine fast.
Yeah, he's got like a 24-hour caffeine fast with sea salt and
he's just
parsley.
like, I'm lifting all the weights.
Yeah, and he's using a fat bar to make it extra. And then on top of that, he's being an awesome dad to his kids. Look at
babysitting. I mean, look at it. He's like Buckaroo Banzai. And then he sent me this video of. So this is the hotel we'll be staying at HomeGymCon. So I told him, if I don't see this deer there when I go there, I want a refund. So I was like, okay. So that's what happens in Kentucky. Excellent. So Kurt, beware what you ask for. Now, as we get ready to wrap this up, man, I want to talk about your channel a little bit. You've been doing a lot of stuff on there. You've hit a bunch of milestones. And actually, let's see here. One of the things you did, you actually posed a question here, and I want to know if you've kind of decided on anything. So, let's go ahead and pull this up here. All right. So, right there, you're already over 24,000.
Yeah. Next step is 25 with the help of your subscribers.
That's right. So, what I want to know is, have you decided what to give back?
Rosie, be nice. I haven't yet. I haven't. I had a couple of ideas whether I was able to just kind of auction off, so to speak, like a free giveaway on home gym equipment, or whether I should. I have giveaways that I give to people who use my affiliate links for free, and that's like a thank you gift that I put like a letter in the mail. I was actually thinking of just getting cash, right? So get like 100 of those cards. And then get like, I don't know, like $200 in 20s, and then randomly put $20 in them, seal them up, shuffle them around so that when I give them out, I don't know who I'm giving them out to because they're all like effectively the same. And then do something like that. So I haven't decided yet. Unfortunately, 25,000 subscribers is probably enough time away that I'll be able to, actually do some. You want to sit in my lap? There you go.
Dude,
All right.
look,
No,
I kid you not. Look, we were at 7. We were at 779. She came on screen and went to 8:15. She sat on your lap and went to 8:36. In fact, you get out of here. Bring her back on camera right now. There you go. All right, this is what I'm talking about. We need more. You see, I gave you the big. There you go. Yes. 8:38. We just went to 8:38. Oh, we're gonna break 1,000. Just keep her on screen.
But I don't have anything for the giveaway. If people have ideas or suggestions, comment below, because I want to do something to say thank you to all my amazing subscribers who watch my channel, and click the links and use my affiliate links in the description. And if you haven't hit the like button on this podcast, please do so now.
Let me ask you this: what's your next collaboration? Because we were talking about that. I don't actually have one set up. Well, I mean, that's except for like these. But what's your next time doing a collab? Do you have something planned? Anything with Jack? Or anything
listen, every time I reach out to people, I get ghosted. I'll be honest with you. I get ghosted more often than not. Like I get people like, oh man, I'm busy. I can't shoot like an 11-second clip on my phone. Like I can't just shoot an 11-second clip on my phone and send it to you over Instagram. So I kind of slow down reaching out to people, because most of them said no, or a lot of them would say yes. And then when you went to go schedule a date, oh, well, that date doesn't work. And we'll see, maybe in September. So I haven't had any yet. If people want me to collab, message me. I never say no. Ask John. I'm easy.
That is the perfect. That's perfect. I said, what's my dream job? This one, what I'm doing right now. I think that's crazy, because I actually have a lot of fun. Like whenever you send me the thing, like, hey, I need you to. So let me back up. The first time you asked me to send you a clip, there was no context. You just said, send this clip of me. And I was like, what? It's like, okay. But they're always a lot of fun. Like the thing about trying to guess what your PR was, and I took the dry erase board and I did like this meaningless calculation. I think those things are a lot of fun, man. I get turned down for collabs a lot too. I think the most fun one I did those with Marcus from Twisted Barbell, because we both had the rep AB 5200 1.0. And so we did a review of it together. Like we both had it for a while, and we did like a side-by-side, just like this, except each one of us had the bench. And we were talking about like things that we had noticed about it. And he actually told me like a little hack for turning it into a decline, because the 1.0 doesn't have a decline option. And so I really enjoyed that. So I'm hoping to be able to do more of those. Apparently,
I love Twisted Barbell. I actually messaged him. I'm like, listen, you got to put out more content. He hasn't put out a lot of videos. Stickers. Yeah, he's making end caps and stuff. He's doing awesome.
Yeah.
We got to wrap this up. She's getting worse over here. What
makes you think she did? Put a little boogie on it.
I am at 882 views right now because of your daughter. I'm fine. We talk for another hour. I'm just kidding. All right, look, man. I will go ahead. I appreciate you being here. You need to go hang out with the kids.
Yeah,
have some dad time.
We got to do schoolwork, because even though it's February vacation, we try to harp on the education.
And being all seriousness, I appreciate you taking time away from them. They're not going to be that age forever. Enjoy your kids, man. Thank you for being here, Jonathan. Thank you.
John, anytime. I'm always glad to come on and be the bad guy. You take care.
All right, man. Later. All right. So now my views are probably going to drop. See, look at that. They just dropped because Jonathan and his daughter aren't having shenanigans on screen. So let's go ahead and I got one more thing I wanted to finish out with. And since we ended a little bit early with Jonathan, let me go ahead and do it. I thought this was kind of cool. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about companies being responsive to the needs of their customers, right? And so it's Watson Gym Equipment, right? You guys are familiar with them. They make the dumbbells, really, really high-end dumbbells in gym equipment. And I don't even know how I found it, but I stumbled across I stumbled across their playlist on their YouTube channel, and it's called Meet the Team. So let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. Okay, so It's called Meet the Team, and what I like about it is it's basically every episode you'll get a different member of like the Watson staff, right? They'll get some people from a different department to talk about what their department does and the role that that department plays in basically making equipment and getting the equipment out to you. So I recently saw I discovered this, right? And I started at the very beginning. I said, okay, well, I want to see everything. So the first episode was with Simon Watson. He started Watson Gym Equipment, talked about how he got into the business. And then it goes through like, Rebecca Edwards, I think they talk like with their chief operating officer, a lot of different people, right? Anyway, my favorite episode so far, the one that really made me say, you know what, I'm going to mention this during the show, was episode 8. So episode 8 is called Alistair and Owen. You guys see it up there on the screen. And in this episode, so Alistair and Owen lead the logistics team. Okay. And the reason why all of these, I listen to all of these start to finish. Okay. They got good music. The editing is good. All that. But the reason why that one stuck out to me, and look, it's only, how long is this thing? It's the Owen and Alistair episode is 6 minutes, 44 seconds. The Lucas Owens episode 7 is 3 minutes, 46 seconds. I'm trying to think. The one with Simon Watson, 5 minutes, 29 seconds. You're not looking at a huge chunk of time. But what I liked about the episode with Alistair and Owen is they're talking, like I said, they're in logistics. And they talked about what it takes for them to ship equipment to customers. And they started talking about like all the little things they do, right? For example, they said that they will reach out to, so if they're shipping something to your address, they'll reach out to you to see if there's a driveway, and if there is, how wide your driveway is, to make sure that they get the shipping carrier that is best able to handle that, right? That seems like a little thing, but that's actually a big deal. When was the last time you ordered something and the company reached out to you and said, hey, do you have a driveway? Because we need to know how big a truck we can get this on. You know what I mean? Because, okay, if you got a small driveway, okay, this thing might need to go on a small UPS box truck, which might affect how fast it goes out. Okay. And I'm looking at it like, how come everybody doesn't do that? I've never had a company reach out to me and talk about it. Now, with my Ergata, we had the people who are going to install it reach out to us. But I've never had the company that's sending stuff out, the company I actually made the purchase from, I've never had them reach out to me to say, hey, we want to make sure to pick the right shipping carrier to make sure we get this to you as quickly and efficiently as possible. And Watson said they do that. And I learned about that in that video. They also talked about it's worth it for the houseboat story. Apparently, this guy lived on a houseboat and he bought some Watson equipment. And so they had to ship it to the dock where his boat was docked. So now think about trying to get a power rack onto a boat, right? All the stuff associated with it. And I don't mean like a giant cruise ship. I mean like a houseboat, right? And so that was just fascinating to me. I highly recommend. I even commented on their video and I said, man, this is the best episode yet. And then I don't have any financial relationship with Watson. I get nothing, absolutely nothing for recommending that you go watch their channel. But what I will tell you is Watson, in me watching this series where it says meet the team, they're demonstrating that they care about you and me, the people who potentially would buy their stuff. And They're a UK. They're based in the UK. I believe they have distributors here in the United States now. But 100%, it made me want to do, like check out their stuff. I mean, they got cool looking stuff too, but it made me want to check out their stuff because I'm like, if they pay attention to something as small as making sure I don't have a small driveway, then I expect them to have that same attention to detail in making the equipment. You know what I'm saying? That was a big deal to me. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but to me, those little things like that matter because it tells me that the company cares. And I like to do business with people that show that they care about what I need. Okay. All right, guys. So that's the show for today. Shout out to the West Coast. You guys can hear my voice is about to go. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. We'll be back next Friday. We got another exciting episode for you guys next Friday. And in fact, I don't do this enough. So we've actually got some really cool guests coming up in March. All right. I was just talking to the guys from Texas Gym Builders, and they're going to be coming on the show. Let me see. Yeah. Texas Gym Builders going to be coming on the show in March. I've also got an interview lined up with Phil Patty. So Phil is the founder of American Barbell, and he's going to be coming on in March. They got a bunch of cool stuff, including that, they just opened a showroom in Vegas, and they opened a manufacturing facility in Vegas as well. So obviously they're making equipment in America because that's where Las Vegas is. So he's going to be talking about that and all the cool stuff they have coming in 2025. And that's in March as well. So you guys make sure you are following Garage Gym Life at Garage Gym Life on Threads, because that's where I'll be putting out all the information to let you know when another episode is out. It's coming up, and just give you guys updates on the show. We are constantly looking at ways to improve this show for you guys, but you guys are the ones who make doing all of that worthwhile. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for bearing with me, when my voice wasn't at its best. Shout out to, we still got 700 and something people watching right now, and I appreciate all of you guys. So thank you so much, and y'all have an excellent, excellent weekend. Peace out.